Hello, everyone. This is Chase, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of Cold Sun's Sci-Fi Convergence. Welcome the rest of our group of freelancers, mercenaries for hire, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to go through just a couple really quick channel announcements, and then we're going to go around and introduce ourselves. Um, Pay attention because we are doing a giveaway of the Expanse RPG core rulebook. I think if you type exclamation point giveaway in the chat, there you go. So
Giveaway
yeah, type in
sons.
exclamation point. What was that?
Giveaway sons
Giveaway sons.
is what to
Ah, perfect.
type.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, thank you. Yep. If you type in exclamation point falling star, that will, and you are following us, that will enter you for your chance to win a copy of the PDF, and we will be giving that away at the end of the session. Um, yeah, so let's go around the table. Let's introduce ourselves, and then I will introduce ourselves with a little intro video, and we'll get this party started. Let's start off today with Matthew.
Hi, folks. I could read your mind that you were going to start with me. I was so ready. Hi, folks. I am Matthew Foreman. I use he, him pronouns, and tonight I will be playing Drake, a mystic warrior with a blade made of light who who has a lot of memory problems and doesn't remember a lot about his past. He also uses he, him pronouns, and I am excited to be here. I will nominate Dakiri, Sean.
Hi, I'm Sean. I use he, him. I am playing Dakiri, a roguish pilot who often leaps before she looks. She uses she, her pronouns. Happy to be here. And I will nominate Rob.
Rob at Pyromancer 804, he, him. Tonight I will be playing Tack, they, them, who is a solo golo hunter type creature that swarms in armor and carries a big hammer and a shield. It's a good time. And I will go ahead and pass to Liz.
Hey, this is Liz. I am Liz. And I use she, her pronouns. You can find me at No One You Know Backwards on all the socials. I play Droogle, uses they, them pronouns. They are a resident hacking space potato who has quick draw. I'm multitasking. And they do everything from making sure all of the technology that we use stays up to date, and when the need arises, hacks planets. Other things that we do, go ahead and join us out on our Discord. We run movie nights, and we play all sorts of movies, kid friendly, adult mature content. Well, not that kind of adult mature content, but like but movies that like I think The Reader's on our list. That's probably the most mature movie on the list. It's a possibility for the future. Or like Rocky Horror Picture Show. Could be, you know, older teenager kid friendly, but not like kid friendly. And we keep up with all of our stuff happening at the channel out on that Discord, so you can go join us there. I'm stalling a little bit. We've got merch that we can go look at and you can buy that's created by our resident artist, Fox Fanato or Alexis. And that is all the boring stuff that I will send to you now. I will send this over to Alexis to introduce herself.
Hi, I'm the disembodied voice named Alexis. You can find me at Fox Fanato on Twitters, and you can find me here where I am on, three of our shows, doing various different characters, having a lot of fun playing TTRPGs, and making these overlays and the graphics and stuff. I use she, her pronouns, and so does my character for this evening, Cassie. Cassie O'Neill, who is a blended consciousness with a Tok'ra symbiote, and has like an inspiring leader talent sort of thing going on. Yeah. take it away, Chase.
Beautiful. Thank you guys all for joining us. So my name is Chase. You can find me on Twitter at Chase314S. We're going to roll a little intro video, and then I will get the session started off. So let's roll that beautiful bean footage. Welcome back. So, welcome back to episode 2 of Cold Suns, our sci-fi convergence. I'll do a quick recap and then we will get it started. So, last episode, we found our intrepid adventurers after a few weeks of downtime. They had been basically, spending whatever credits or gold pressed naquidum was in their pockets and kind of living their lives the last few weeks, when they received a pretty mysterious and uncharacteristic message from an old fixer of theirs who's given them a few jobs in the past. When they went to meet up with this fixer named Palak, a Ferengi, they were ambushed by a couple of different, I guess you'd call factions or groups. And Palak, took a lucky shot from one of his ambushers. But luckily, when caught in the crossfire, our intrepid adventurers were able to overcome their attackers and save Palak's life, keeping themselves completely out of any kind of negative repercussions. Upon speaking with Palak, they found out that a mining ship had gone missing recently, a mining ship by the name of Talpat Rin, which means falling star in Jaffa. There was a very lucrative asteroid that had some pretty rare minerals on it and ore that basically Palak was trying to keep secret. The ship that was sent subcontracted to go retrieve this asteroid had gone missing, and now Palak is basically trying to play a shell game of keeping his corporate overlords happy, which apparently he's not because he was almost assassinated, and also trying to keep the location of this very lucrative asteroid a secret while he hires the adventurers to track down this missing ship and hopefully retrieve this very expensive asteroid. So after we left our crew, I think you guys had just wrapped up talking to Palak in the infirmary, and you had basically have the night ahead of you to do whatever you want before you head out with Catbap in search of the missing ship. So what constitutes next is an interlude activity. So you guys basically have the night, or the rest of the night, if you want, to do whatever your characters would like to do. You also will have time to look for additional equipment if there was anything you were trying to kind of get a hold of before you headed out, stock up on. Yeah, so I'll just hand it over to you guys.
I know what I want to do, so I'm happy to go.
Perfect.
Drake is going to engage in some. I don't know what I think it's called recovery technically, but I'm gonna meditate to reduce my dark side level, my dark side points.
Excellent. So this is basically an advanced test, Matthew. I believe your dark side score is currently at 2.
It's 2, yeah.
Is that less than your willpower or equal to your willpower?
It is less than.
All right. So I'm going to need you to make me a willpower self-control test. You will take a -1 to this test because of the taint of the dark side.
Cool. When I do this, I would like to try to find Dakiri.
Okay, for sure. Like with your mind?
No, just physically fine. She told me not to do that, so. Ping.
Absolutely.
No, I'm gonna go just find her, be like, what's up?
Beautiful.
Hey, Dakiri, remember a couple months ago when you asked me about the source and then you had me shock you with lightning for whatever reason?
Kind of hard to forget it. Yeah.
I was reflecting on that moment, kind of rewatching it in my mind. And wait, I'm not sure I fully understood. Are you trying to learn how to use the source?
Yeah. I mean, if you think that's a possibility, I'm willing to train.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. Well, you don't have to stick around for the whole thing, and I know you said you weren't good with the meditation, but I think this part's important if you're gonna learn how to use it. If you want me to show you something.
I'm willing to do what it takes.
Okay.
It means I get a new skill.
Oh God. Drake stops. Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. And then I'm gonna roll. I got 11 total.
An 11 it is not successful.
No.
Unfortunately. So this basically represents several hours. So basically, do you want to set the scene of what your quarters would look like, or whatever corner of the station that you're staying in?
Yeah, if we're on the station and on the ship,
you can be on the Nuria too.
No. I pull. I move a maintenance shaft panel out, and I crawl into this this workroom that has a mattress and some sheets and lots of discarded cigarettes and bottles of whiskey. And I'm like, okay, we'll do it here. We'll meditate here in this in my home. And then I'm going. Yeah, I would cross my legs and begin to meditate. I'm gonna try to expel the dark side from me. It's that thing where I choked those people to death and then shot lightning out of my fingers.
So are we gonna do that again? You're gonna hit me with the bolt?
No. Because I did that, I now have to do this because it's a slippery slope.
Slippery slope how?
You start to lose your self-control when you invoke the dark side of the source. You start to lose control.
What makes that dark?
The dark side of the source is built around things like rage, destruction without aim, I would say, torture, those kinds of things.
Got it. And there's another way of doing it?
Yeah, there's the regular way. Using the source to protect, to enhance, to engage in diplomacy, to hide, to conceal, to protect. Like I said, to protect. Like what I did with Polak. I protected him.
So, does that mean you risk falling into this if you train me?
Only if our training method is using lightning on you a bunch like what was done to me, which I don't think we should do.
Okay. If I'm assuming Drake might be sitting in a meditative stance, so she'll try to do her very best to mirror that on the opposite side of him.
But yeah, I fail. So I could. I don't know how you want to narrate that. I have some ideas, but
Sure. I can, if you want to put yours in, because I can flavor a little bit too.
cool.
So yeah, give me your ideas.
So as I'm meditating and trying to literally like almost like sweat out the dark side is kind of how I want to think about this. I think that like the part of the maintenance shaft and stuff like on the room, like things start to float in the air and like a pipe breaks and gets kind of crushed as I start to like try to very forcefully exert this outside out of my body and out of my essence. And it is unsuccessful. I'm probably crying, like my eyes are watering. I don't know about crying, but like my eyes are watering, and I'm sweating.
Yeah, Decuri, you witness all this, so I mean, seeing Drake move things with his mind is nothing new to you, but you can just see kind of like the waves of concentration going over Drake's face, and you guys are here, I guess, kind of for hours. This is going to basically take the better part of a night. Drake, I would say while this is happening, you've purged dark side points, not dark side points, sorry, dark side before from yourself. You're no stranger to this, but you do feel almost like a foreign source of discontent as you're trying to focus. Something, you've been doing a lot of carousing lately, so maybe you haven't been quite as introspective in the last few weeks. But as you're doing this, you have this unsettled feeling in your stomach, like this prickling at the back of your neck that's making this inner tranquility that you require elude you. You were unsuccessful, unfortunately, in purging the dark side from yourself tonight. But it's not always it's hit or miss. It's not a perfect system.
Yeah,
it's a process.
I'd open up my eyes and be like, I didn't do it right.
So when Drake opens up his eyes, he'll see Decuri with almost a constipated look on her face as she's trying to mimic everything he's doing in the hopes of doing the same thing. And she's been using him as a model from the outside, not knowing all the stuff that's going on the inside.
Got it.
Hey, you gotta locate your tranquility and find. And there's a couple parts to it. You gotta address the grievances that you committed, own them, take ownership of them, and then let them go. And then you also have to find a moment of tranquility and peace. I could do the first part pretty well, but it's that second part. You see, the problem is I can't remember any of my moments of tranquility or peace. So it's a little hard.
Decuri reaches into her bag and passes over a flask.
Yeah, that's some tranquility. That's all I had.
Beautiful. Well, for that interlude, I would consider this to be restoration. So you guys recover 10 plus your level in fortune.
Cool.
So 10 plus 3, 13. 13 fortune. And then Decuri, I would note down per the training rules that we discussed. This would count towards. Actually, normally there's not a willpower test on this, but the source is particularly sorry. There's not normally tests on this, but the GM can call for one. I would say since this is your first real meditative session, roll me a willpower test, a willpower self-control test.
16 with a stunt.
Better than
Beautiful.
I did.
Yeah. So let me pull up I have so many screens open right now. Perfect. 4 step points. Good stuff. So mark down 8 hours of training towards the source, so to speak.
Okay.
Beautiful. All right, who's next? I saw a couple other things in the chat. Drugel, I think that you had some stuff that you wanted to do before you left.
I do. So, before all the shops closed up for the evening, I would try and see if I could procure myself a med scanner.
Awesome.
To assist with helping Dakiri with their tech, potentially installing some on myself, cybernetics, that kind of stuff. And then, of course, when people are hit with foreign objects in space, knowing what's wrong with them. So
Got it.
Can I find that
so
on Reltech Nor?
Yeah,
or whatever
so,
planet we're on?
You guys are on the Reltech Nor, the space station in the Sangheli area of space. So, you've been keeping your eye on it. I would say much like graphics cards right now, you've been having a hard time tracking it. You've been using several bots to try to basically look for stock drops of one of these. And it's kind of the challenge of sometimes they'll come into available, but they'll be like way out of your price range because the supply and demand aspect of it. So we can say that you would spend. We'll count this as researching time, and you and I hadn't necessarily talked, but I'm guessing that researching is probably one of your favorite activities based off of previous ones. Does
that would absolutely be true. And then, because I'm
Beautiful.
also going to want to look for more information on the attackers, if I can do both in one evening,
Okay.
or if it's one or the other.
Well, let's roll and see how you do. Let's try that. On the income test first, and if you get it, then maybe you'll have time to do a little bit of research.
Gotcha. Let's see how poorly this goes. So it's 3d6 plus my fortune modifier right now, right?
Yeah, your income, which is I think a plus 3,
income.
and then I think you had a. Yep.
I still have plus 4 right now. 15. I need a 17 for that one, don't I?
Yep, but this is a thing that we didn't really get a test. So basically, you could buy like a used or refurbished one that maybe has a couple of flaws that you could then maybe tinker and repair yourself. So like, if you know you're getting ready to go out on a mission, you could accept one that's maybe not brand new, and might have a couple things that need to be fixed, but you know that you're pretty handy and you could probably fix them yourself later.
Okay. So would that 15 get me a used one?
Yes, it would. Yep,
Okay.
It would get you one. Just it would have a couple of flaws to it.
And what would those flaws be? I'm going to get it. What would those flaws be?
Let me take a look really quick. I don't want to bog down it too much, but I think I can probably pick a couple that are useful. Give me 10 seconds here. I've got the thing pulled up. Okay, so the first flaw I would say is shoddy. SHODDY.
Yep.
So basically, this thing looks pretty beat up. The casing is cracked. It's like held together with like some bad patchwork and some poly stuff. So when you're using it, like if you're in a role play or a social situation, like if you were working with some doctors or some like high-end people, it would impose a -1 on like social interactions because it looks shoddy. And then I would say the next one would be, let's say, unreliable. It's got a short in it. Unreliable basically means if you're using it and you fail on a test with it, and the drama dice is 3 or less, it basically shorts out and stops working until you spend some downtime basically repairing it again. So those two things take, those two flaws reduce the TN for it from a 17 down to a 15. So yeah, you're able to afford it. I would say you lose that temporary +1 that you had.
Of
And
course.
since this is more than 10 beyond your income, it depletes your income by 1. So now your income becomes a 2.
Okay. Alrighty.
And I would say since you found one pretty quick, and you roll pretty well, you would have time to do maybe like one of the pieces of information that you're looking to track down. Since you know that you found a lot of the, I guess you'd call surface level information with your initial tests before. So now you're digging deeper and looking for stuff that's just not readily available.
So
Unless you are looking for
actually,
something that's really available.
I'm specifically looking for deeper information on the analysis that we pulled from Polak's data cube or whatever it was. So basically,
Okay.
when we're looking at that asteroid and its location, trying to see what planets are near to it, if there's any history for
Okay.
that asteroid. So we know that there was ancient ruins on the asteroid. And if any of that history is potentially redacted from like government files, so that would be your digging. And then what radioactive scans or equipment do we need to survive that asteroid without harming ourselves? Because if it's been undergoing this transformation for goodness knows how long, then if it's radioactive at its core that would harm one of us, I'd want to make sure we had that equipment to counteract that.
Okay, so I feel like this is almost two trains of thought, and bear with me here. So you're wanting to find out more information about the asteroid, like its history, maybe where it's been, and then you're also thinking about the hazard, because you guys heard a lot about Nequadria in the last session. You know it's radioactive and stuff. And Nequadria is kind of a niche subject. So I could say you could go down either train of thought. If you're wanting to dig in more into the asteroid and maybe its history or its whereabouts, you could do that. Or if you wanted to learn more about Nequadria and how to deal with the hazards of Nequadria, I could see you go down that path as well. So which you're kind of at a fork in the road. You're like,
yeah.
which one do I want to go down?
I would seek out Cassie and see what Cassie already knew about Nequadria before overlapping that information. Because
Sure.
if Cassie already knows what we would need to counteract any of that, then I don't need to learn that. So I would go find Cassie.
I think Cassie has probably quarters on the station, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Then you
at your door, maybe.
Yeah, probably coming down the hallway, because everything's made of metal. You hear a weird 3-footed walk that you're familiar with before you hear the thumping on your door.
Yeah, who's it?
Drogo!
Oh, well. Come on in.
I will.
Cassie unlocks the door, however the hell that happens in space.
I will go ahead and let myself in. Yeah. Yeah, I can't do that Droogle voice forever. Sorry, folks.
No, that's okay.
I wanted to ask about Nequadria.
Ah. Yeah.
What do we need to survive an asteroid made of it?
We need to be really, really careful to not blow it up. If we do anything that will spark any kind of explosion near that it's going to be very, very bad.
So do we need to eliminate all firearms except for stun guns?
I'd say we need a reliable way to probably locate where the concentrated sources of Nequadria are, to know where the volatile areas exist, and to take extreme precautions near those.
Okay.
I have no idea what the makeup of this asteroid was, if it was really densely mostly Naquita and the chain reaction has been going very slowly all these years, or if it's just, one vein that's very small but goes through the whole thing and is slowly being transformed. I really don't know. We won't know until we get there.
Got it.
I will say, I'll give you this, because you guys did have the metallurgical analysis. It wasn't like this entire, it wasn't like the core of this asteroid was Nequadria. It was more like, hey, we picked up several important elements, including Nequadria, not, oh my goodness, this whole thing is just
Okay.
chock full.
Okay. But is it radioactive? Would a regular do we need special spacesuits?
It has a half-life. I don't know if Cassie knows what off the top of her head what the half-life is or anything, or how radioactive it is.
I think we had your roll last time and you didn't know it for sure. You were kind of trying to draw into your science knowledge. Thinking through, that most spacesuits that are designed to go out in space, there's a lot of cosmic radiation out there anyway, because there's no atmosphere between you and the stars. So a lot of them usually have some kind of radioactive proofing in them anyway. Now, it kind of depends on the quality of the suit. A light environmental suit's going to be a lot less protective than a high quality one. You do know that the Unified Authority armor that you guys retrieved from that derelict ship is actually pretty good at blocking radiation.
Okay.
So you think you'd be reasonably fine? You're not, if you're wearing almost any suit, you wouldn't want to hang out next to it for a long time. But for what you guys are planning to do, any of the suits that you have would be sufficient. Just don't bring it on the ship and start handling it with your bare hands,
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So the history of this asteroid is what we need, not how to survive it.
Perfect.
This is what I'm saying to Cassie. The history is what we need, not necessarily how to survive the asteroid.
One of the things that'd be interesting to know is it would take me forever to sit down and figure out what calculations to run. I can't. But maybe you could help with this, is figuring out if we could determine what the half-life is and how quick that reaction is going with the Nequadria. I don't know if you can determine that from the metallurgical scans that you got. If this thing was created, if the reaction started either through some accident, not accident, but through some non-man-made source, or if it was created by someone, I think that makes a lot of difference. And when the reaction started would tell us a lot of what sort of opposition might we come up against.
Cool.
I don't know what you want to do with that information, but it's just something that's on my mind, is if we're going to have to deal with someone who started this reaction, or if that started ages ago and we don't have to worry about someone claiming that it's theirs.
Gotcha. Can I research here, or should I go back to the Nuria?
Oh, you can hang out here. That's fine. I'm not going to be here long. And you see that she's been packing some stuff up. I have a date.
Oh, I'll make sure I'm gone by then.
No, not here. I'm going away for the date. on
Oh.
the station, so you can hang out here and do your stuff here. I won't be here.
Perfect. Then I'll set up in like the middle of the living room and like turn my legs into like a chair cushion and just project on whatever walls are available and like just make myself at home and be here.
Okay. And
So looking for the history of the asteroid, who's owned it, whatever redacted files I can find from the government, because it was erased at some point, I'm assuming, and trying to find that information.
Sure. So I would say, yeah, go ahead and roll me your research test, which I know that you can use your technology, right? Or computer use. It's one of those two that you can use in place of it.
I will take that.
That's a really solid roll.
Nice.
I will take that.
22. So this takes you several hours. I would say it takes you the whole night, essentially. But you're no stranger to doing deep dives like this. You quickly find that there's 0 records of this asteroid on any kind of surveying thing. You basically do a database search of Yaptriska's surveying records. There's no signs of this thing at all. So then you start trying to get a little bit creative with it, and you start kind of like doing like a cross comparison between the metallurgical analysis that was done and other things that have been seen before. And you do hit what I would say to be some highly classified files. So basically you're following this and you start getting into like ONI records. And so I'm going to caution you, you know that if you dig any further and start going into like following this bread trail that you're doing, you run a high risk of tripping up somebody like, hey, people are searching for these specific keywords as part of like the government, essentially, the ONI. I mean, you're out in Sangheili space, so but just letting you know, you're starting to get into like classified territory, which tells you something in and of itself.
I don't have any I don't have any stun points. Otherwise, let's be a little reckless. Let's go for it. Let's get the information.
Okay. So I'm not going to make you... You know what, with that check, yeah, let's roll a security test. So you basically have gotten, like, it's led you down this path. Now you need to get past basically the barriers and the clearances that you need to access these files.
Okay, is this security or hacking?
The moron had... let's do hacking then. Yeah, because you have a +1 with hacking. So security might be if you were trying to decrypt it. Yeah, hacking is a good one.
16.
You know that I would just tell you that this won't succeed, but you could spend fortune if you wanted to be more successful at it.
Okay. So let's leave my drama dice as a 4 and let's turn this 1 into a 4. And I will go
Except-
ahead.
What, 19?
So that adds 3 more. That makes it 19 and gives me 4 stunt points.
Beautiful. I would say 19 gets you pretty deep into some kind of restricted system. So you've basically you kind of hit a brick wall before, and so then you started going at it another way. You know that as part of the intergalactic strategic alliance between a bunch of the different species of the galaxy, that they do have some information sharing set up. So you kind of go about it that way because their security maybe is a little bit more lax as they try to share info between these different governments. And you ultimately do find basically what is it's information on signs to look for, and it tells you basically let me pull up one document really quick. I just don't want to misspeak. So you find that this information is considered classified top secret amongst different organizations. And so basically, this bears a lot of the same kind of metallurgical and carbon dating markers of some of the what they would call joint exclusion objects. So basically, about a century ago, there were these massive forerunner, basically super weapons, and there were 7 known of them in the galaxy. And basically, the military classified their locations and basically set up little flotillas around them, and no one can go near them. The only reason that you found this information is because they're basically trying to tell, as they did some information sharing with the Sangheili, what to look for if they found it and to report back. So you basically, like, this is triggering, like, hey, this seems like what could have been, it has the fingerprint of a forerunner weapon of some kind from, a million years ago.
So we think this asteroid is one of the 7? Is that what I'm pulling from this?
Maybe not one of the 7. Like, you couldn't find the locations of the 7, but as far as you knew, these were like large structures that were much bigger, but maybe it's a piece of one. There were rumors that one got destroyed during the Great War a century ago, when the Master Chief of Earth saved the galaxy.
Okay.
And you, what 4 stunt points are you gonna spend?
I had a question. Are all
Yes.
downtime tests advanced tests? Are these
They
advanced tests
generally
or no?
can. They generally can be. She's been rolling pretty hot, and the stunt dice have been with her, so I'm letting it kind of be this way to keep it along. Yeah, they can be. They generally can be advanced tests. Yeah. So she's had 2 successes, and I think if I look at her stunt dice that she's had, that's been 9 on the stunt die.
Okay. Is this infiltration or investigation?
Well, it's a little bit of both, because you're infiltrating other people's systems.
I sure am. How much do we not like Meridian? This is what I'm gonna do. Infiltration 4. It wasn't me. You leave evidence another character is responsible for the results of your test, such as breaking and entering, cheating at cards, or uploading a computer virus. All failed tests to investigate the truth reveal that person is the culprit, and such tests suffer a -2 penalty. So if someone
Beautiful.
realizes that we were doing this, and I want to point at Novagen.
Okay, excellent. So you basically route your traffic through one of Novagen's servers, basically trying to lead any investigations back to one of Novagen's servers. Excellent.
Point it straight back to
Good stuff.
Novagen. Yes, that's what I want to do.
And I would say that takes you. That was a very dynamic thing, and yeah, thanks for the reminder, Matt. That maybe should have been an advanced test, but you rolled pretty hot, and you probably would have hit the threshold with one more roll anyway. So I'm happy to give it to you.
What's the difference between an advanced test and a regular test?
So what an advanced test is you basically have a threshold that you need to. There's 2 parts to it. There's a target number that you need to succeed on your roll, and then there's a threshold that your stunt dice have to eventually add up to. So it represents a longer investment of time. So you might make 3 or 4 tests over the course of 8 hours, and you have to eventually hit like 10 or 15 combined stunt points. So I was doing this as basic tests, which is just a singular roll.
And then I'm going to push my luck. If I succeeded, I get an extra tidbit of information.
Oh, let's see.
And then I will give up the floor. Sorry, guys, for taking so much time.
The extra tidbit of information, you can see that you are not the last somebody had accessed this type of information relatively recently.
Do we know who?
So you're not unfortunately, no, there's not a timestamp. It has like a last read timestamp, and it was within the last week.
Got it. So we might point to Novigen twice. That's fun.
Alrighty. Is that your scene, Liz?
That's everything I want to do. I will probably fall asleep in this living room and then make my way back to the ship in the morning.
Got it. So I don't think you took any damage, but if you did, since research is one of your favorite activities, you would have gained 10 plus your level fortune.
Oh, well, okay.
Alright.
So I used 4 to force that die. So I guess I get them back.
Yep, that's one of the benefits.
Thank you.
Churn went up by 2.
Yeah, I guess. It did. Thanks, buddy. Churn went up by 2, yeah.
Spent
Right.
fortune and
Any other scenes we got? I think Cassie had one.
Yeah. Did Tack, did you have anything though?
I did. If you want to save yours for last, I can go. Mine's pretty short though.
That sounds good.
Go for it.
So Tack would wander back to the ship, and they would probably start just getting into their workbench and stuff, and trying to work on their armor and look at their shield, look at the UA stuff they got from Salvage Op, and try to break it down, try to break it apart, and try to just learn more. And basically working on my I think it was craft mechanical.
Let me see, because craft isn't a thing. I think it's intelligence crafting.
Got it. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So if you want to, so this is an advanced test. So you're basically trying. Do you have a specific goal that you're working towards, like trying to get a focus in it, or are you trying to
trying to get a focus in it?
Beautiful. So I'm not even going to make you a roll for this one, because this is kind of more of a rote thing. So you spend 8 hours and just track down 8 hours towards the intelligence crafting focus.
Perfect. That's
You basically tinker in the Nuria's workshop, familiarizing yourself with the tools and stuff.
That's really all we have.
Awesome. Yep, and you would gain 10 plus your level in fortune. All right, Cassie.
So, Cassie is making her way somewhere on the station, but Dekiria would have gotten like a little note or something from Cassie with just like a meet me here this time, place, and just like some general info and like wear something comfortable for outdoors. And Cassie heads to her date in the Hollow Suite on Reltech North, waiting for Dekiri.
Yeah, Deck, you would have gotten that message probably after you finished your meditation session with Drake. Your legs are pretty stiff, and your phone is on. Well, your hand terminal is on silent.
Okay. Deck checks the messages, panics a bit because all of her clothes are pretty much the black utility gear that she wears all the time and has multiple of the same version of them. So is there a way for her to get clothes for this event before?
Okay, well then in that case, Cassie would have known that.
Oh, okay.
And either lent Dekiri clothes in if they're similar sizes, or just like bought her something
Okay, fair.
Yeah, whichever one. Yeah, you've seen the inside of Deck's closet. You know how monochrome it is.
So
Yeah,
it's probably similar in terms of color scheme, but more geared for relaxing outside.
Okay,
Beautiful.
so then Deck would make her way over to the rendezvous.
Beautiful. So the holo suites are basically holographic areas that you can rent out for entertainment. They're above Hadron's bar. They're basically ran by one of the Ferengi on the station.
Of course they are.
I would say, Cassie, I hate to be mundane about it, but this would take a bit of an income test to rent. You just basically have to pay
Palak
for the
runs
time in the
this?
holo suite. We can not Palak, a different Ferengi.
Oh, okay.
Hadron.
Okay. All right. Well.
We can do it after. I'm not going to make you roll for it. I want you guys to be able to get to the scene. So Dakiri, you make your way to Hadron's bar. You go up to the upper level, and you find that the holosuite program is already running. If you can go in at your leisure.
She does.
Cassie, would you like to describe what she sees?
Yeah, I'm waiting. For the music?
Yep, it's coming.
Ooh.
So you see what is more or less not that Dakiri would necessarily recognize this as, but like a replica of Earth, specifically in like one of the many lakes in Minnesota. And it's like a really just nice, calm, like sunset, and it's like clear weather. And there's a little dock on this nice, quiet lake. And Cassie is sitting there in one chair. There's another chair there. And there's a couple of 6-packs of beer and some like snacks that are probably a little nicer than Cassie would typically just eat by herself. Like Cassie's attempt at a little charcuterie board. And there are, and you see next to each chair is like a little tackle box and fishing poles. And when Cassie hears the door open, she sort of stands up real awkward, turns around and like, hi.
Deck reaches over and hits whatever she has to on the panel to make sure the door is locked behind her. She takes in the scene, walks quietly up to Cassie. Is this home?
Kind of. I know that I told you all that I grew up on Earth, and I've talked about showing you Earth, but I have no idea when that will ever be. Especially since I have burned some bridges. But I mean, I still have a place to go there. So I hope someday we can do this in not a holo suite. But when I was a little girl, my grandpa, Jack, would take me fishing here. And it was just one of the better memories of growing up that I have. And I wanted to share it with you. Because I don't know if I'll get the chance to show you Earth, so I figured we'd take advantage of the time we have now.
I can see why you miss it. I didn't expect it to be this green. She just kind of looks around.
Yeah. Where did you grow up? I mean, before all of the tragedy.
Well, originally I was from Arodia, but spent most of my life on a freighter. And, well, the rest of that you know, but space has always felt like home to me. It's strange, but wonderful to see Earth in this way. I'd like to visit with you one day.
Do you,
Is fishing hard?
Only if you make it hard. And Cassie will take some time showing Dakiri how the rod and reel work and how bait works and all that. And she'll also say, but the biggest takeaway that I had from my Grandpa Jack was it's not about the fish. In fact, there were no fish in his pond at all. In his lake at all.
Dick laughs. I like this. This is peaceful.
Do you have any memories of the planet where you are from?
Vague memories like you would expect a child to have. A lot of desert. Most of the landscape was almost a orangish red hue. But there were places not that different from this, although the colors were not green, but where you saw lots of plants and vegetation. And I remember a time with my grandparents running in a field, not altogether unlike this one. And she does her best to imitate the casting motion that Cassie showed her.
Cassie is, of course, standing behind Dakiri, doing the hand on hand, showing her how to handle everything and walking her through a few casts. Well, maybe if you want to, we'll get a chance to see both worlds. Only if you want to, though.
I think I'd like that. I never thought about going back, but going back with you, yeah, I could do that.
One thing that Grandpa Jack was never really good at expressing thoughts and emotions, but one thing that I've really gotten the sense of from him, and that was really more expounded upon and solidified when I was blended with Cal Jarrell, was it can be really powerful to understand where you're from. It can really help you understand where you want to go and why.
Do you have a sense of a second home then? Does that come with the blending?
Yes and no. It would if there was, more of a sense of home for Kalashirel, but Cal's lived many lifetimes through many hosts, and the Tok'ra never really stayed in one place long. It was, a lot of guerrilla tactics, a lot of stealth ops, never staying in one place long, and never really, especially on all those covert ops, having to be someone you're not constantly. It's really hard to develop a sense of belonging and home under those circumstances. And actually, Cal's sense of home mostly comes from, me and previous hosts. We kind of, it's one of those experiences, those few experiences that I have that Cal didn't. To help each other experience things that we never had a chance to experience. Learn from lessons, learn from mistakes that we might not have made ourselves. I mean, we kind of both feel like we've made them, even though we haven't. But, no.
I know it's not the same, but being on the run all the time and having to do hard things and under Rod's banner, things I didn't necessarily agree with, but didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
I feel like I kind of understand Cal a bit. I hope he approves of me.
Yeah, that's kind of how Cal feels. We feel. It's weird, It's really a we, but it's also we're blended, but we also know where the boundaries and the separation exist. So
I do have one question though. If there's no fish in this pond, do we still have to put the worm on the hook?
no, they're just there. I think it was the smell of the earth that that was important.
Thank you for showing me this, Cass. I like this place.
Whenever I get the chance, it's where I go. I mean, if it's a hollow suite or if it's home. It's how I keep them alive, even though they're gone. And it helps me remember what what I left behind and remember why I did it and why, why I make the choices every day that I make. And of course, it's a really nice way to unwind and relax. So there's levels there. And I'm really happy that I got to share it with you. And I hope I get to share it with you again.
Deck gently sets down the rod, turns to Cassie, and envelops her in a hug.
Cassie turns it into a kiss.
Beautiful. Is that the scene?
I think they continue to fish and hold hands, drink their beer and have their little snacks for a while.
You basically, you know that you had the holosuite booked for the entire night, so yeah, no one disturbs you for the time while you're there. Something really quick. Yeah, I think honestly, I was looking at the price for this, and it wouldn't deplete your income if you succeeded, and then yeah, so you're good. This was a little pricey. You can't do this all the time on your income. Like an 8-hour stint in the holosuite is pretty expensive, but you've been saving up, and you had some money in your last mission. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Does everyone want to take a little break? We're nearing the halfway mark of the episode, so we can take a little break and then get on with the episode. Wonderful. All right, well, thanks everybody. Appreciate everyone who's turned out in chat. Thank you for the follow Aqua Summer Woods. Thanks for entering the giveaway. We're going to take a quick 5 or 10 minute bio break, and then we will be right back, and we'll get on the search for the missing mining ship.
Yeah.
So, hey, thanks everybody. And we are back from our short little break. So, the freelancers have spent their evening on Reltech Nor, pursuing some of their own ends. Some of it is, more technical and research to help guide them in their upcoming mission. And some of it is honestly just, relating and building relationships, all of which are valid and supported by the Expanse RPG. So, it's the next day, and you guys are, you are ready. So to recap on the mission, you have the general last coordinates of where the Talpat Ren was last seen. That is the salvage ship, the mining ship that you've been sent to find. Although what Plok did tell you is that he had sent some observation drones to try to find it before, and it wasn't where he thought it should be. Also, part of your agreement before was that you were going to have an observer drone follow you just for basically insurance backup evidence to record your guys' foray onto the telepathin. So Catbap, calls you guys in the morning. Not trying to rush you at all, just, let you know the ship is up and ready to go whenever you're ready.
I probably woke Droogle up, and they will lumber back to the ship.
Beautiful. Is it fair to say you guys gather on the Nuria and prepare to leave?
Oh yeah.
Yep. Kaka's already there anyway.
Excellent. All right. I will play a little bit of music. Hopefully this is appropriate. So, Okay, I can hear the music now. Roll20 does that thing where it delays. So you guys basically have a general idea of the last place that the ship was. Catmap tells you that it's going to be, it's 1,200 light years away. It's going to take you about a day to get there. We don't need to necessarily role play scenes or anything. You guys are, you're on the Nuria. You spend a lot of time there. You can spend whatever downtime however you want. But basically, we can just fast forward to when you arrive in the sector that the ship was last seen in.
Deck settled into when Deck settled into the chair, it's like just a sigh of yeah, that's the stuff. And then she yells out, "Catmap, did you adjust the right pedal, y'all?"
It was loose! I don't know how you drive that thing!
I wanted to try that 180 split landing procedure the next time we come in.
Well, at least now you have a better chance of not wrecking my ship!
When have I ever done that? She holds her hands up in exasperation as she hits the throttle for full.
Excellent. So you guys remember? The Nuria is Catmap's. It's basically, they call it a small freighter. It's kind of a cargo ship. It's been equipped so that you can spend long stints on it. Normally, when clients get shipped, over several weeks, they just put themselves in cryo sleep and wake up when they get there. But you guys instead usually prefer to kind of be conscious and interact with each other. So Catmap has gotten pretty used to storing extra provisions and food on the ship that humans and human adjacent creatures find palatable. I would say after a very uneventful, day and a half of travel through slip space, that basically. Oh.
Can Droogle try to fix the unreliable part of the med sensor while we're traveling and during this day?
Yeah, I would say this is definitely an advanced test. So if you wanna make an intelligence technology roll during one of your downtimes, that would be one test towards it.
Okay. $12.
12, unfortunately, does not make it.
Sure does not.
But I would say during the downtime, since you did have some, you are able to regain that 4 fortune that you spent.
Okay.
Because that doesn't take your entire, 32 hours of time, or however much a day and a half is. So as you, oh, sorry, did you have another question?
How do we want to enter the system?
Gotcha. So basically, yeah, that's a question that Catmap and you can have. So you can basically just pop into the last coordinates that the thing was that the ship was seen in. You have long range sensors that can sense out millions and billions of kilometers, and so you can go to the basically the last place that the ship was seen and start a little search perimeter if you want. Or you tell me how you're trying to approach it.
Cass, what you're thinking? I mean, we know the last ship that went here vanished. I'm wondering if we just stroll in, if we'll be running into whatever they ran into.
I think caution is important here. I think there's, the possibilities are a range of things, right? There could be multiple people trying to get their hands on this asteroid. The Nequadria could have been unstable, they could have caused a reaction within a Nequadria. We might just find debris. It's hard to say, but if there are multiple parties contesting ownership of this asteroid, I think that's the that's the thing we need to prepare for the most, I think, right now. That's the most dangerous situation we could walk into, just flying into the system. If you can keep us hidden while we do some scans.
Are there any? Do we know enough about the system in terms of if there's any hiding spot, planetary bodies, somewhere where we could come in? That would.
We should. I can pull up the map for us.
Yeah, so the interesting thing, this was actually in a pretty, I would say a pretty remote area of space. Like it wasn't near any traffic lanes, it wasn't near any real planetary bodies. The closest thing, honestly, like there's no real habited areas nearby. If you want to switch to the map that I'm sharing, and Rob, you could probably even do it on the stream as well. I can kind of show you where it was.
It's already up on
That
stream.
would go away. Beautiful. So yeah, that orange dot is where it was. So there is really nothing. This is kind of a dang it, I keep on highlighting things. That this is a pretty barren area of space. Really only useful for its mineral-rich asteroids. It's semi-close to a previous adventure that you guys had when you traded that as surveillance gear for weapons. That they were on a path to this structure here, which is an ore refinery station, Bandronian 2. So you basically know where it was last seen and the course that they were going to go, so you can kind of follow that breadcrumb to try to figure out where the ship ended up, if it's anywhere within its current course. And you also know that with your long-range sensors of your ship, you could probably pick it up. You're not gonna, you basically, it's just a matter of time. So what I would call this basically an advanced test, where you would be rolling, probably technology. So that would be something maybe the electronics officer on the ship could do.
Okay.
So, but you could contribute too through knowledge of piloting. So basically, you plotting in basically a search course, that kind of maximizes your search profile. That would also count too.
Well, if there's nothing to hide behind, I think I'd recommend. It might be a little bit rough, but as opposed to coming out cleanly out of slipspace, we just let the ship kind of fall out, put it into a light spin, no power or low power, no lights, look like space debris.
Capep says, "Yeah, I trust your judgment. You're the Peregrine Falcon, for Christ's sakes." How do I know who Christ is? Missionaries.
You're on.
So yeah, I would say go ahead and so this is an advanced test. So you're
sorry, I was
basically
muted.
the idea is you're trying to. Sorry, were you gonna say something, Alexis?
Yeah, sorry, I was muted because. Okay. Cassie will just say, Takira, that's not a bad idea. Either that or just hanging out near an asteroid and just trying to keep our signature as low as possible.
Awesome.
I think if we look like
so
debris, we might get picked up by anyone who might be out here to salvage potentially. It's a good idea if we want to lay a trap, for sure.
So yeah, so are you trying to come out kind of spinning and looking like space debris? Or are you?
Yeah, that if we're already there, if we're ready to do that, yeah, I'm ready.
Awesome. So I would say this is a dexterity piloting test. So this is an advanced test. You can't really stunt on this, but this is building up towards the threshold of finding the missing ship.
18.
18. So you certainly know your way around a ship. And I'm going to pull up the screen with the stunt dice on it. All right, I'm marking down this towards your threshold. So yeah, you are able to kind of as you described. You instead of kind of the graceful exit from slip space, you basically just kick the quantum field generator off and let yourself come out sideways. And you said you do it at a low power state.
Yeah, like no lights, not looking like the ship's under power.
Got it. Beautiful, beautiful. So so the ship kind of comes careening out of space, and if you look on passive sensors, so passive sensors are the ones that they basically only work at the speed of light, so they only receive information, but they don't really broadcast your position. You can see that the sector of space that you're in is empty, free of just random space debris, and not like the space debris of a blown up ship or asteroid, just the normal detritus that you would find in the vacuum of space. You're pretty convinced that no one has noticed no one's painted you with a targeting laser, that's for sure. Now, the only challenge being the kind of active searching that you're doing does broadcast your position, if that makes sense. If you're going out and looking with active sensors basically reach out through subspace or slip space and allow you to scan, millions of, it takes 8 minutes for light to get to Earth from the sun. So if you're in passive sensors, something could happen 8 minutes ago and you wouldn't notice until the light reached you. Passive sensors let you reach, all the way up past Pluto, for example. They just basically it's like shining a bright flare and saying, "Here I am," because you're painting the area with your sensor energy. So you can do this all passive, but it's going to take way longer, for a fact. Like finding a needle in a haystack at that point.
So I defer to the team on that one. I don't think Deck would be running the sensors.
What are you trying to do?
I'm gonna figure out if we're gonna use active or passive sensors to look for this ship, because active sensors will be faster but will draw attention potentially, but passive sensors will take a long time.
Also, the term "needle in a haystack" was used, so it sounds
Yep.
like we should use active.
Yeah.
Not wanting to spend time doing frivolous things at all.
You search your feelings.
Yeah, I'm gonna search my feelings, use the source, I'm gonna force lightning cat bap off the ship, and
So the passive sensors picked up no active ships within range.
Exactly.
Okay.
You guys even let it sit there for a little bit and you don't see anything.
Then Droogle will pull up whatever sensors that are necessary with kind of with the acquiescence of the rest of the crew, and start an in-depth search of as far and wide as we can go.
Beautiful. Roll me an intelligence technology test. So the Nuria, you can tell it's basically got the normal sensors for a cargo ship. They're nothing special. They don't give you any bonuses on the test, but I see a 17. That's a success, and 4 stunt dice that count towards the advanced test. Very cool. So you basically do an active sensor sweep of anything within several thousand astronomical units of you, and you do detect the faint basically radiation signature that is left behind of ships when they enter and leave slip space. You think it's maybe maybe a light year or so kind of in the direction towards Bandronian too.
I will point that out to our pilots.
Yeah, exactly. And you say pilot and both of them answer. Yeah, so you know that this is a pretty a single light year. It's kind of a small jump. Yeah, if you wanted to maybe make another, what would you do with this information, Dekiri? You could try to go at sublight, or you could just try to do a quick hop with your, it'd take a long time to get there via sublight, but it would be easier. You could also try to do a quick hop through subspace.
I'm good with that if everyone else is. All right,
Okay.
I plot the short jump and engage.
Go for it. dexterity pilotings.
17 with a stunt.
Beautiful. And with 5 stunt points, that
6.
exceeds the threshold. So you basically see this disc of nothingness open up, and the Nuria passes through, and almost within a half second later comes back out. Your active sensors still going, and the proximity alert immediately goes off, as you can see, roughly 2,000 kilometers away. You pick up several sensor contacts, one of which immediately matches the registry for the Telpat Rin. But you can see that the Telpat Rin is not alone.
Quick question.
And yeah,
Mechanics wise, you said 5 stunt points, but because of my my inspiring feat, my talent, does that count as 6 or does it not?
I don't think so. I mean, I would have to look at it, but like for the purposes of advanced tests, like they're not generating stunts. This is like
Okay.
Stunts are also
Okay.
the drama dice is also a measure of your success.
That's fine.
So yeah,
that's
it
fine.
wouldn't.
Okay.
Yep.
We've got contacts.
Alrighty. You can see that they have noticed your presence, and they basically start scanning you back. And after just a few moments, you are immediately hailed. Da-ding, 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 da-ding.
Hello. Who is calling?
You can pull it up on a visual, or is this audio only?
Audio only for now.
This is the vessel Intact Vu. This is our salvage. Leave the area or we will be forced to defend our claim.
Cassie will look over to Drugel and to Curie to see are we a match for this ship? Kind of a
Yeah, what did the scans pick up? What kind of shielding and what kind of weapons are we looking at, and how many living souls?
Alrighty, so I'm gonna pull up a thing on the map for you guys. So as you start to scan the local vicinity, I'm gonna throw something up on Roll20 for you guys all to see.
trying to assess how to respond.
Alrighty. So you can see that there are, besides the Reltech, the Talpat Rin, there are 3 enemy contacts. One of them appears to be a Teltac, and there are what appear to be 2 fighter craft-sized ships. So ignore the fact that it's taking up 2 squares. These are small ships. So there's 3 ships that are much smaller than yours. You can't, because their sensors are up, if you want to try to find out how many life forms are aboard them, or really specifics about it, it's kind of like an opposed check, because the shields that are up mask those things. Now the same thing is true of you. They don't know how many people are on your ship right now. You do know that your ship is larger than theirs and is more durable, but you know that the fighter craft maybe are a little bit better designed for space combat.
And quick question: is the asteroid nearby, or does it look like they're salvaging the ship that we came for?
The asteroid, thank you. The asteroid is tethered to the ship, so basically it's not represented on here. But yeah, there's the Teletech seems to be docked with the Telpat Rin, and it is tethered to the large asteroid that's just kind of dangling there in space, a few thousand kilometers away.
Maybe we tell them. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, do we know if there are life signs on the Telpak Rin?
I would say, because Drugel did state that they were scanning the ship. thank you for pointing that out. The shields are not up on the Talpat Ren, and you do sense some life forms aboard the ship using short-range sensors.
Okay.
Maybe we give them the truth. We're here for survivors of the ship.
And the asteroid.
But we strategically leave that out. We're here for the survivors of the ship. I said what I said.
Okay, yeah, Okay, that would be a deception from my perspective. If you tried to say we're only here for the survivors of the ship, that would be a deception.
I mean, I didn't say only.
Okay.
Is
I'll
Drugel saying
step out.
anything?
Drugel said this to Cassie.
Okay, but
I
not,
would say
but
we're
not while
here
broadcasting.
No, not while broadcasting.
Gotcha. Okay. What seems to have happened? What's the state of the crew on that ship you claim salvage on?
No crew.
No crew, huh? Because
This is our salvage, our ship. You know salvage rights. Leave now.
we're on a humanitarian rescue. Because we know this crew went missing. So I want to know what happened to the crew aboard that ship. Are they alive?
No crew aboard ship. Leave now, or Antok's hunters will come for you.
Am I able to sense if they're telling me the truth?
Roll me a perception empathy test, I believe is what it is. And you can see as you're saying this that the two smaller contacts change course and start heading towards your ship.
Of course. Oops, I'm sorry. I wrote the wrong fucking thing. I'm so sorry. Here.
Yeah,
There.
that would have been a really good roll, too.
That's it. That's the one.
It's hard to sell. Here, let me.
So deck
I'm gonna
turns.
spend.
Okay.
I'm gonna spend 5 fortune and force a stunt.
Okay. What kind of stunt are you trying to do?
Because this is counting as what exactly?
Maybe
Investigation?
this is
Or communication?
or social. I would say
Social?
social. Yeah, because you're trying to derive if he's telling you the truth or not.
All right. Sorry, I can't remember what the stunts were for this. Oh, there they are. Well, let's start with my total test then becomes, I spend 5 fortune, it becomes a 17.
Because you
I changed the 1 to the 5.
Okay. 17. You think that they're, you think that they're telling you the truth, both in that they will attack you if you don't leave, and 2, that the ship is empty.
But I was asking specifically if there were survivors.
And I'm telling you that they are telling you the truth.
That there were no survivors that they found.
Correct.
Cassie, what happens when our weapons hit a asteroid of the Quadria?
Very bad things. I don't know exactly the yield or the range, but I wouldn't want to be near it.
They're not going to
Not
be
even
very
in
afraid
space.
of us in the area, but if we threaten to poison the milk and hit that asteroid, they might back off.
Yeah, good call. I like to. Okay, 4 stunt points for sleep with one eye open. Here we go. And I'll tell you how I'm gonna speak about this, because I'm assuming they already have a negative relationship with us, right?
Yep, they start off as hostile.
Yep. So effectively, the next attack you make against that target in this session is automatically a surprise attack, as long as they weren't already in combat, and we're not already in combat. So that applies, right?
It can't. The only thing is, yes, it can. And this is something about space combat. You're like 3,000 kilometers away from them, so you could launch. And the Nuria has torpedoes. You could launch a torpedo, and that would be a surprise to them. But it will take 2 rounds for the torpedo to reach them, if that makes sense. So it's not gonna be a get you, if that makes sense. I'm not trying to limit your options, but you're pretty far away from them. If you were like close to them, that might work.
Okay.
So are we using our ship rules, and if Cassie is commander, does she have access to guidance, tactics, perceived weaknesses, and setup?
I'm just looking because you were telling me social stunts, and I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
I'm sorry. I was trying to think of the scenario. You were trying to get information out of this person, and
That's
so
fine.
it was a social encounter. Your options are I'm not trying to pigeonhole you. Your options are a little limited when you're in a spaceship 3,000 kilometers away.
Okay. Well, then what Cassie will do is say, yeah, I don't know if you know what that asteroid is made of, or what happens when incendiary devices go off close enough to it. But I wouldn't want to be in your position and sparking a fight.
Roll me a communication. I believe it's not bargaining. 1 second. And I would say, I was looking at the stunt list. You could do the one where it gives them a penalty. Like if you were trying to like lure them into a false sense of security, it doesn't necessarily apply. But like the -2 to initiative, I could find a way to make that work. But so are you trying to intimidate them right now, or are you bluffing? Because are you planning to actually blow up the?
I'm saying weapons fire near that asteroid is dangerous for them. I'm not bluffing. I'm telling them flat out.
Then roll me a communication persuasion test.
Okay. I'm gonna use. Okay. The stunt that I'll use then is impress. I'll spend 3 stunt points to gain a +3 to this communication test.
Beautiful.
So 3 to that. 18.
You can sense nervousness in his voice, where he says, "You threaten us?"
No, you threatened us. And I'm just telling you that that's not exactly wise.
Can Drugel try to sabotage their
Does-
shields?
That kind of thing is. You can't really sabotage people's shields from long away. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't like hack their shields, really. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to say like no. I know we've never been in space combat before, so.
I'm sorry, I interrupted. Go back to the
yeah.
communications.
You're good. He's gonna say, "Leave now, or we will be forced to fire. No more confusion. No more talk."
See, you fire on us, we're gonna have to fire back. I'm trying to get some information as to what happened to that crew. Are there still escape pods on board? Is there anywhere nearby where escape pods could have gone?
We come. The ship is empty. 1 corpse.
Corpse.
Escape pods still in the ship. Only
willing
place they
to-
could be is this. Only place they could be is this rock, and it's ours.
Are you willing to transport the corpse to our vessel? And allow us to search for
We
other
will
survivors on
We
this
will jettison
asteroid.
and just. We know your tricks. We will jettison the corpse. You can pick it up when we leave. This is your last warning. Dakiri, at the name, and just to point this out, Dakiri, you know the name Antok's Hunters. Antok is a pirate lieutenant for Veskel Rot.
Oh god damn.
Oh, that would have been information that would have.
I'm sorry, I was so engrossed in the role play. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
Okay, so anyone that sees Dakiri is going to see like a quiet rage forming as she shifts the drive on the ship into full towards one of the ships.
And that is going to initiate space combat.
It sure
Sorry, I
is.
should have
Oh
told you
god.
that at the very beginning when I said yeah. So
Oh.
as the engines on the Nuria light up, you can see them lighting them up in kind. And we are going to enter some space combat.
Oh, no.
Music. I should have started with that. I forgot to mention that little detail.
I was kind of wondering, but I should
My
have asked.
Yeah, I was excited. Okay, so this is going to start. So there's 3 contacts, and you are currently at long range. So we are going to traverse the space combat rules that we put together. The first step is what's called a command test. So I know that this is our first space combat, so we're going to take our time with it. We have roughly an hour.
Okay.
The commander is somebody who would make leadership tests. Now, anyone can make this test, but if you have somebody who's really good at leadership, probably it makes sense for them to do.
It'd be me.
And Cassie, your commander inspire ability does work on these tests.
Beautiful. Okay.
So everyone involved in the combat needs to make a leadership test. This is basically versus a straight value, a TN 11. If you succeed, you automatically get 1 command point to use, like 1 stunt point to use on command stunts. And then if you roll a double, it's 1 plus the stunt die value.
Hang on. Everybody makes a command test?
Yeah, this is basically so. Space combat takes place over several minutes, and so not everyone. Sorry, each combatant, each ship makes a command test.
Okay.
So your ship is making command tests.
confused.
Their ship. I'm sorry when I said everybody. Yeah. So you basically are kind of like running to the action stations on the ship as you try to figure out what to do.
Okay. So I roll leadership.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. Communication, leadership. How's 18 do? With 5 stunt points.
Woo! And yeah, you had double, so you're going to generate 6 stunt points because you automatically generate 1. So with 5, you're going to have 7 stunt points to spend because you have 5 on the dice plus the 1 that you automatically earn.
I don't earn it from.
Wait,
I
your
don't earn
ability
it from my
doesn't
own
apply to
talent.
yourself, so just
Yeah,
got it. So just 6.
6.
Yep. Now, the interesting thing about this, and Alexis, if I were you, there's a chapter in the book that you're going to want to go to that details out what the command stunts are.
Oh well, that's gonna take me a minute.
Page 131.
I have to go
Yep.
open the book. Thought everything I needed was in this sheet. Sorry.
Yeah, and you can, and I had the list on the sheet that I gave you, so you can pick from guidance, tactics, perceived weakness, or setup.
I'm really sorry. I don't know what I'm doing.
That's fair. This is our very first time doing it, and I can try to provide you some guidance as well, if that's okay, because this is very... It's like a game within the game.
Where the
So
hell
you're
does
in the
this
page.
look?
Yep. It's on the Synology page.
That's the wrong PDF. Okay. Sorry.
Hey, Ashen Works. We are just getting into our very first space combat, and we're dealing with a little bit of technology right now.
What is it? Digital page what?
131.
131 physical, 133 on the PDF.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. So what I can do is spend the stunt points to do these different things. Am I
Right,
limited
but
to
look-
one thing or?
On the sheet that I gave you, you are limited to guidance, tactics, perceived weakness, or setup. So
Fucking hell. Hang on. I'm so sorry. Guidance, tactics, perceived weakness, or
or
setup.
setup.
And I can pick one of those things, or I can
can
spend the total of stunt points.
You can spend a total of stunt points, and you don't even have to decide them all now.
Okay.
It's just like you could say later, you know, like guidance, for example, you can choose one test. Let's say Dakiri was trying to evade a torpedo or something. You could say during the step when she's trying to evade the torpedo, I want to give her, 6 stunt points towards that as a bonus. The risk, though, is if you wait to the very end and you don't use them all, you lose them for that turn, and it starts all over again at the top of the round.
Understood. Okay.
To help you out a little bit,
Yeah.
something like perceived weakness probably isn't going to help because you're so far out of range. You're going to have to get closer to the other ships before you can even shoot at them. So maybe holding it off for guidance and helping other people's tests. So you have 6 points that you can help other people do things on their turns.
Okay. Then yeah, I think I'll hold on for a minute unless it's hard for me to understand really how much tactics really affects the other ship.
Tactics would make this test that they're about to do be worse. So you can make it so them trying to make a tactics test harder. So you can limit the number of stunt points that they have.
Okay. I have 4 points. No, I'll just hold on. I guess. I'm sorry.
That's fair. No, it's fine. We have to dip our toe into the system, this part of the system at some point, and this is how you do it. So you're gonna kind of hold off, and you're gonna strategically increase other people's rolls as they do it.
Yep.
So the enemy ships have to make kind of the same test. So I'm gonna do it for them. They generate 2 points. So they're going to do the same thing that you did. So one of the Space Banshees generated 2 points. They're going to hold on to it. Second Space Banshee does the same thing. They make it, but they only generate 1 because they didn't roll doubles. And then, and so one thing that you guys know is that your guys' ship is a lot more durable than these ships. These are quite a bit smaller than yours. So you feel like when you get into the guns that your ship can take a lot more hits.
Okay.
And these people succeed too. They got 5.
Okay. And what about the Teltac?
The Teltac just got 5. So the Teltac is smaller than you two by a bit. Yeah, so you're in a much bigger, bulkier ship than the Teltac. Teltacs are usually fast. They're kind of like the size of a fighter.
Okay.
So I'm going to pop these out so they're easier for me to see. All right, so the only one who had anything of real note was the Teltac. It is going to use... it's going to hold on to its 5 points, and it's going to use it in a later turn, too. So that was the command test. Everyone was successful and generated their points. This next step is then now going to maneuvers. Maneuvers is trying to get the ships closer together. Right now, the only attacks either of you can do are like torpedo attacks. And torpedoes, even them, they will take a couple rounds to traverse this space, but you can really like punch the engines and move yourselves closer. You can tell that they're trying to close the distance with you. So that it's going to be relatively easy, in fact, if because you both are kind of closing in on each other. Now the real question is if you want to try to keep a distance or not. Then it starts getting to like opposed tests, if you want them to be really close to you or not.
I have a real quick question.
Yeah.
You said the Teltac was docked.
Exactly, it is.
With the ship that it's trying to salvage.
Correct.
Is it? So it's not trying to close the distance.
It's not. Exactly. It's like it's hanging back, and the 2 fighters are moving forward towards you.
Okay. Okay.
Can we disarm a torpedo before impact?
Yeah. What would that look like? What would be the goal of that be?
Meaning, if we launched a torpedo at the asteroid, the Nequadria, they're either going to have to take it themselves, or we disengage it just before it hits so that it doesn't explode the Nequadria.
I mean, so you're trying to bluff them? You're trying to launch a torpedo at the thing and hope that they have to try to shoot it down?
That's the thought, yep.
You absolutely could do that. Yeah, you could just disarm. It doesn't take a step at all.
I also have a thought.
Okay.
What if we try to close the distance and ring tack onto the ship that doesn't have shields?
You absolutely could do that.
Okay.
Is tack okay with that? Are we good with that?
Yeah, absolutely. We would be good with that. Because it's docked with the other ship, so I could run.
It is. Yeah.
So
And-
as far, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Doesn't have shields, so.
Yeah.
As far as maneuvering, Chase, I'm on a game of chicken with them, and I broadcast. You bucketheads are gonna break right, aren't you? You always do, and I'm just full flooring the Nuria towards them.
Okay, so
Is this where I can use guidance?
You could. So let me just describe. So since the Teltec is docked, it's going to automatically fail any attempts to like keep distance with you. And same thing with the Telpad. It's not going to. It's so far away that the only way that you could realistically reach it like in this turn would be for you to turn off your inertial dampers or like turn them down, which like risks crushing the crew of the ship. So that's called a high G maneuver. So basically you risk crushing the organs of your crew and causing internal damage by really just gunning the ship.
Well, I was heading towards the Banshees.
Okay, so you're not trying to immediately get close to the Telpet. You're just trying to close the distance with them.
Yes.
Okay.
Basically, a game of chicken with them.
Awesome. All right, so I would say they are flying right at you, and I would say there's no tests that are needed here because the ships are just flying right at each other. The only way that you would do it is if you need to do a test is if you're trying to do something clever like use your engine wash to like reduce the effectiveness of their sensors or something, you know, if you're trying to do something clever. But if you're just gunning it right towards them, there's no tests needed.
Well, if I can close, I don't know how far away we are. If I can close the range and the time, I'd want to try to get one of them to swerve into the other if I could.
Okay, I would consider that one to be that stunt that Alexis has set up, where you're trying to set up a hazard.
Okay.
Exactly.
So
Okay.
that would be 4 plus stunt points. So I would say, since you held onto your stunt points, Alexis, since you guys are moving at each other, you'll be within close range, and you can try to set up and deal damage to them based off of the number of stunt points you spend.
Okay.
So that will come in just a second, because like we're basically in maneuvers, so you've stated your intent, and then we're getting into like other steps as like the engineers try to get the ship ready, as Drugel does electronics warfare. So
Cool.
your plan is to use setup, which comes during the weapon attacks step. So hold on to that. So I'm gonna move your tokens here. So basically, these ships go flying at each other, quickly closing the distance between them. You can see that these small, nimble fighters, their engine cowls light up and they boost towards you. As the ships, and this is all happening simultaneously, so as these ships are rocketing towards each other, the next step would be engineering. So, Tack, I'm assuming that you would make your way down to the engineering deck.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can basically try to like position your ship for success. You can like angle your shields if you want to have more defense.
Yeah, with 2 coming out, I'll try to adjust shields or polarize or something along those lines. So
For sure. And so you can either roll an intelligence engineering, or since you're a Sillic Golo, you could interface physically with the ship and use Constitution stamina.
I will be interfacing physically, or we will be interfacing physically. So some of my worms go out and into, like, merged into the console almost to kind of interface directly with the mechanical systems.
Excellent. That's a 16. Yep.
And
So
then
that is a success.
I'm actually going to spend Fortune 2 to bump that one up to
Sure.
a 3, so that generates 5 stunt points.
Nice. It would generate 7 stunt points, right? I believe.
Think so?
Yeah.
I'm
you
currently-
generate. Yeah.
Okay.
You generate 7 stunt points. So it's 1 plus, if you roll doubles, what is on the stunt die.
Got it.
You
Okay,
just
that
generate
makes
7
sense.
stunt points. Yeah.
Alright, so hold on, I've got to adjust the churn. So 17 for the 4 that we're going to spend on setup. And then 1 for changing it. And then 1 for rolling 6. And then if I spend 7, it's another 1, which puts us at 20. Just heads up.
Ah, nice.
It's 8, right? 6 plus the one you automatically generate plus 1 from Cassie.
I don't
Oh, yeah,
think I'm
from
in
Cassie.
line of
Hey.
sight of Cassie, though? Or does
We,
it
with
matter?
Cassie-
we set the expectation that
Okay.
we would all be in the line of sight.
Yeah.
Okay. Then
Yeah, even if you're in different areas of the ship, it's kind of like a ship-wide command.
Alright, so I will. Sorry, hold on. I've got to read through these real quick here, with because these are actually in your sheets.
Yep.
So first, I'm going to angle the shields towards the Banshee on the left.
Okay.
So I heard Dex say break right, so he's going to go or aim to the right, which leaves our left exposed. So that will hopefully, if they go the other way, that'll help. And then, so I have 8 stun points, and then I'll supercharge the capacitors.
Nice.
On probably the blasters with them being that close. Or I'm not sure what other weapons that we have.
Yeah, you have the point defense system, and you have basically a laser cannon. On the
Okay,
ship.
yeah. So the laser cannon.
Excellent.
And we'll do that.
Very cool. And so you just hit 20. You just hit 20.
We just hit 20.
Awesome. All right, let me roll a thing really quick. Where did my dice go? There it is. Okay, there is a major effect. So as you do this, you basically push the Nuria kind of beyond her normal capacities as you supercharge the capacitor. I'm going to say that the ship suffers a loss, which is one of the major losses. So basically, you damage the main gun of the ship, and it takes a -1 to attack rolls. So basically, the capacitors start to crack on the laser cannon as you pump more energy into them. Good. You feel like you've succeeded at this portion of the test. They are going to make their own tests really quick, and then we're going to get to electronics warfare. That one fails, so they get no bonuses. That one fails, so they get no bonuses. And then if I could find the hidden window. And this is going to be at a -1. That one just succeeds. So they didn't get any stun points, they get 1. So they're basically going to use, well, that's actually a secret until the next roll. So, okay. So that is their turn. Good stuff. We are now moving on to the electronics warfare section of this. So this is all happening simultaneously. Droogle, it is your turn. So you go to...
Does a 21 with 6 stun points do whatever I need to do for my intelligence engineering tests? I don't have engineering, so I just rolled intelligence.
Heck yeah, that's a success. So you would have, you could generate stun points off of this. So you have 8 to spend. Yeah. So there's a list there, and then half of that drama dice value gets basically applied as an overall bonus to like your defensive actions or their thing. 1 second, I'm 1 page over. Yeah, so you can basically apply half of that to all of your defensive actions, like avoiding their attacks, or all of like a +3 to all of your attacks, if that makes sense. So +3 to your attacks or +3 to your defense.
Ooh, what do we want? You guys figure out whether we want attack or defense, and then I will use these stun points doing stuff.
I would say attacks because we're more durable.
Awesome.
Makes sense.
Okay, then give us the automatic +3 to attacks. And I've got 8 of these points, you say?
Yeah. You guys are rolling hot.
Alrighty. So we've already angled the shield. No, that's the wrong one. Never mind. Let's look at the right stunts here. So let's go ahead and use 4 of these to sensor sweep and give ourselves 3 or 4 options. How many life forms are on board each ship, and lost conditions, current effect of the ship, which stunts were used in step 3. So which stunts were used in step 3 and how many life forms are aboard each ship.
Got it.
Because we've got 2 ships coming at us, right?
Exactly.
And we already know how many are aboard the Sheltac ship that we came here for because they don't have shields. So I'll use my 4 points on the 2 ships coming at us.
Okie dokie. So when you roll that one, so the piece of information, so you know that you're scanning and you can see that they were unsuccessful to do anything in the previous step because they both failed their engineering tests, which you wouldn't have known. You can see it because I rolled, but so you know that. You wanted to know how many life forms are aboard the ships? Is that what you asked?
Yes, please.
So each of the space banshees in front of you has 2 people inside.
Okay.
So there's a pilot and ostensibly a gunner.
Okay. And then I want to go ahead and use multi-targeting. So we're up to 6 here. Multi-targeting, your ship's point defense cannons can both attack and defend this round without any penalty.
Absolutely. Beautiful. That's important.
And then I've got 2 left. Yeah, why don't we just go ahead and dazzle sensors, gain a +2 to 1 defensive action or to the TN to evade one of the winning ship's attacks this round. This must be the opposite of what was chosen as part of the test.
Yeah, so if you're choosing to make all your attacks better, then you gotta make your defense. You gotta spend these on the defense, if that makes sense.
Perfect. Then that's a +3 to attack and a +2 to defense.
Excellent. Wow.
And takes away all penalty. Did we need any other information on that sensor sweep? Because I think we did 2 things and I had 3. But we got it from both ships. Never mind. That's what I've done.
Beautiful. All right, moving on. So learning a bunch of information as you basically overpower their systems with your superior intellect and computer knowledge. Psyop warfare is next. So Drake, you can, if you wanted to go into like a form of battlefield meditation, you can trigger some of these kind of the command stunts similar. Additionally, if you wanted to do something more freeform, like, hey, I want to cast one of my abilities, my source abilities, you could do that as well.
I'm gonna go ahead and do the ship stuff.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, none of my source abilities really make sense, to be honest. Yeah, so I generate 8 stunt points.
Oh my! What is this? Okay, so you basically have a subset of the powers that you can choose from. So you can basically do guidance. You can make your attacks more accurate.
Yep. I have a question. No, I don't. Never mind. I would like. So I have 8, right?
Yeah.
God, I was not prepared to succeed. I mean, I've been sitting here reading, but it's like, it's a lot. Evasive action. We got a +3 to attacks, +2 to defense, but we have a -1 to attack as well.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna spend 4 points on precise hit, so that if we do hit, the target will suffer an additional loss.
Wonderful.
And then I'm gonna spend on target. I'm gonna spend the other 4 on target and increase the TN of evading our weapons by 2.
Awesome. So that's a net of a +5 for 1 attack, right?
Yep.
Nice. And you guys could mix and match these, because if you guys were making multiple attacks, you get what I'm saying. Awesome. So you basically are sitting there and you're kind of let the source flow through you and guiding it, guiding your next attack. All right. Next up is the weapon attacks action. Oh, sorry, yeah. Drake.
Who's shooting the gun? Like, who shoots the thing when we shoot?
So basically anyone on the ship could do it. So you could designate somebody. So Catbap could, Dukiri could, Cassie could. Doesn't matter.
Okay, I'm just trying to understand what this looks like in the fiction, because I'm just picturing Drake standing there, like, yes, the source. But I don't know what it looks like otherwise. Thank you.
Yeah, and you could, like, basically, the way I envisioned it, but it could be however you want, is if you want to say, like put your hand on whoever's going to shoot and say, you fire there, kind of helping line it up.
Because
think
we've got 3 guns, right? So Catbap could shoot one, and like Droogle already being in this system could shoot a different one.
Yeah, exactly. You guys have
Okay.
3 attacks you can make this turn because you're in close
so
range.
yeah, I would guide whoever is shooting. That's just for the fiction's sake.
Yep.
Doing some guidance. All right, that's my turn.
Beautiful. All right, so I guess now the question is, who is making the attacks? Catbap could. You guys have a torpedo launcher, which can fire really far away and does the most damage. You only have 6 shots with it. You have a laser gun that's basically like a big cannon that does a little bit more damage, and then you have like the thing that's used to shoot down torpedoes that are coming at you. But hey, fighter craft are kind of like torpedoes, and they're really close to you. So maybe Catbat makes one attack with the PDCs if maybe Cassie and Dakiri or whoever has a good accuracy test could roll the other 2.
Drake has shit accuracy, so I'm avoiding that.
I've got a 3 to accuracy, not to metagame here.
I've
No,
got
it's
an
fine.
okay accuracy.
So Catbap is good at gunnery because this is his ship. So Catbap can do one, Droogle can do one, and then it's up between Dakiri and Cassie.
I have a 3 as well.
You do it.
Okay. So let's say Catbap is running the PDCs. And so Catbap will just roll his attack, because then you can even choose in this moment, like, do I want to give my bonus to his? You know, you don't have to spend it right before. One second.
If I were to use guidance now, would it apply to all 3 weapon attacks?
1,
Oh.
I believe. Yeah, guidance. I even made a note to myself on it. And guidance only applies to. Second.
Oh, I guess it doesn't actually.
Yeah, it doesn't apply to attacks. I thought you were talking about on target. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Well, I haven't guided anything, so because every time I asked, it was told to hold on. So 6 stomp points are going to go into setup whenever that happens.
Excellent. So Catbap has a thing. So Catbap's TN is set at a 14 to evade his attack.
Plus 2, so 16.
Perfect. All right, now
Because that's considered. No, is this an attack or defense?
this is an attack.
Then plus
So the plus
5. 3 from mine, 2 from Matt.
But yeah, but Matt chooses who the plus goes to. You can apply it. You can like mix and match. You can apply it to an attack or multiple attacks. So Matt could give him a
Okay.
+1, or you could give him +5 if you wanted.
Okay, and then for the electronic warfare, does that give them to all attacks or just one of these attacks?
And that's the nice thing. Electronic warfare applies to all. So
Okay, so this is definitely a +3 for his, so that makes it 17, not 14.
excellent.
Sorry, not to be a rules Andy here. I don't like mine applies to all of them. It says to evade your ship's weapon attacks that round.
Oh, you're right, Matt. I'm sorry. I missed that.
That's okay.
A lot going on. So you used on target.
Yep.
Beautiful. And you spent all 5 of them on it? Or sorry.
It's a +2 total.
Thank you so much. A lot to keep track of. So that brings the evasion TN for Catbap's attack up to a 19. All right. So we'll remember that for the next for the next attack. So Droogle, do you want to make yours? It would just be an
I think
accuracy
Dakiri
test.
was shooting.
Okay.
Awful. 12.
But plus
you get a
5,
plus-
so
You
17.
get a +5.
There we go.
17. Are you shooting a missile or are you shooting the big gun?
I'm shooting the big gun.
All right. 17.
Which is a -1 because of the damage
Yep.
to it.
And then...
But it deals an extra 1d6, so keep that in mind.
Nice. All right, and then does Drugel launch a torpedo? And if she does launch a torpedo, who's she launch it at?
I don't think we were launching torpedoes because of the Nequadria, and the other two were too close.
That's fair. Yeah, and they're a limited resource too.
So I believe for safety concerns, there's no torpedo launching this round.
Makes sense to me. Alrighty, so those were the attacks that you made. Now these ships, you're basically flying at each other, firing at each other. So these ships are launching their own attacks at you. So the Space Banshee in front is going to launch.
I'm sorry, isn't the setup considered a weapon attack? Doesn't that happen now?
Oh, it does. Thank you. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Sorry. I obviously it's glad to keep track of new rule set. So the rules for setup are.
And I'm spending 6 stun points on it, which brings the total test for them to be 16.
16. So yep, it's 10 plus your intelligence plus leadership.
Yep.
Plus
the 3 for the stunt points rounded down, halved.
Right.
I mean.
And then plus like 5 because it's a weapon attack.
Then yes. Okay. Yes.
So that's an 18, right?
No. 16 plus 5 is 21.
Oh my god. This is insane. All right. T and 21. Thank you for that. That's a attack. And so the damage is dependent on how many stunt points you spent. So that's what, 3d6? Is that what it is?
I did spend 6 stunt points, so.
Yep. 3d6 damage. Awesome. Got it. So so the first Space Banshee fires a shot at you. That makes its evasion test is a 14. There's a size difference, so just trust me, the evasion test for the first Banshee is a 16.
So the defensive factor, does that come in determining the evasion test, or does that come in? Okay, so we take 2 away again. It's now back to a 14.
No, so like they're making their attack and they're setting the target numbers.
Okay.
You will add yours as a bonus to your evasion.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep. No, absolutely. Call me on it because there's a lot of moving parts. And the second one is going to make a similar attack. So they're basically both shooting at you. That one sets the target number at 19. All right. So there were 2 attacks launched at you. Now, it's very possible and very likely that you guys are going to destroy them in the next turn, but you still have like basically 2 blasts of green energy as they launch fuel rod guns at you, and they could still hit you even though they're dead, since the shots were already fired. So that was the attack portion. Now we're going into evasion, or counter evasion. So since there's no missiles that's been fired by them, the only way that you can evade their attacks, and I'm going to let you evade their attacks first because that's simpler, because then you're probably just going to blow them up, is to try to dodge out of the way. Right? And you have a +2 on this test because, right, of the step points that you spent. Yeah.
So that's a Decurion maneuvering?
Yep, exactly. So that's a dexterity piloting test. And Dakiri, again, you could choose to give yourself bonus. Oh, well. So 21 dodges the first one.
23.
23.
Because these all go to all of them again, right?
Yeah. Oh, your bonus that you did from your stunt actually goes
to evade one of them. So do we have to choose whether we're using it before or after the roll?
I would let you do after. I'm flexible like that.
Then we'll save the 2 points.
Perfect. So you dodged the TN16 one with ease. So you hear the Nuria lurch as this green pulsating thing of energy flies past the view screen. The second one is soaring at you. Roll your second evasion test. And you can just choose to spend it because that matches. So it would have.
Yes, so
It still would
21.
have hit you.
Yeah.
21. So you can see your energy shields shimmer as this thing actually kind of, you know how you can skip a rock off of water? The fuel rod cannon shot ricochets off of your shield, not doing damage to it, but hitting it at an oblique angle. Now they have to futilely try to dodge all of your things and not die, which I'm sure that they are actually probably going to. So I guess, could you just clarify? So the first one we'll do is you're trying to make them collide with each other. So we're going to try to do that evasion. So I'm going to say
That's
Space
a TN21.
TN21. I'm going to say the one on the left, I'm going to label it Space Banshee 1 because I didn't have it numbered, is the one who's going to try to make the evasion. So he is going to try to make a TN21. And you know what? He is going to try to add some juice to this. So he's going to give himself a +3, but he's going to take a little bit of damage to himself as he like basically pushes the ship as hard as he can because he knows if he doesn't make this, he's probably going to die. He still fails it with a 14. So that hits. We will save. Let me check one thing. Yep, so he got hit by that one, so he's going to take 3d6 damage on the next turn. So it's funny, you actually determine what hits and then the damage in the subsequent turn. So you know that they're going to take 3d6 damage to each other. So now we're going to try to make the other evasion tests. We had the point defense shots. I'm going to say Catbap was shooting at the one on the right. So that one on the right is going to try to make its evasion test. The TN right now was 17. It fails it abysmally. So you can see as it veers to the right to try to get out of the way, it just leads right into Catbap's gun. And then I will let Dakiri choose which of the two ships that she launched her big attack at.
She was gonna swing right, so I would say the one on the right again.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Ashton Work, for all the gifted subs. Thank you so much, and appreciate you guys sticking with us. This is literally you're witnessing our very first time using space combat rules, and there's a lot of steps to it. So you're making the attack on the right. It's going to try to evade your TN21, no, your TN16, TN21, TN16 attack. It is just going to make it, I think.
Boo, hiss.
Oh,
Matthew's
sorry.
saying something.
Well, it was TN19, right? Or
Was it 19?
Or no, I think it was 16. I can't remember. Yeah, 16.
Yeah, I have 17, 19. Yeah, actually, no, Matthew, you are right. It is 19.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, because the 16 became a 21 with the +5, so it fails it. All right, so now we're going to move on to the attack damage. This is easy. You guys aren't going to take any damage this turn, but they are. So let's go ahead and roll up their damage. First things first, I will have, Cassie, do you want to roll your 3d6 damage for them colliding?
Sure.
And then while she's doing that, 10. Beautiful. You can see as they slam into each other, their small shields illuminate in an extremely piercingly bright flash of blue, and their shields drop as they kind of ricochet off of each other, veering right into your guys' arcs of fire. I'll have Dakiri go first with the cannon shot.
Another accuracy.
Yep. No, not accuracy. You're rolling your damage. You've already hit. So you're rolling 3d6 plus 1 because the extra 1d6 from the overcharged capacitors.
14.
Okay. And then I'm just gonna roll Catbap's damage really quick because I know what the results of this is gonna be. Roll 2d6. All right, 11. So the way that this works now is the damage test. So normally you dropped their shields and there was a bunch of overflow damage. they normally roll their hull to see how many losses they take. Their hull is only a D3 because it's small. So even if you double it, there is no possible way for them not to be taken out by these attacks. So you guys determine how their ships are taken out. So they are basically walked into your fields of fire. How would you like to leave their ships? Do you want to blow them up outright, or do you just want to disable them?
Dakiri gets to probably decide at least one of those ships' fates. I would think, because Dakiri did fire at one.
Yeah, I'll let you each. You, Cassie, because you set up the thing, and you, Dakiri, because you fired the second shot.
Cassie would like to leave those ships disabled. Not necessarily blown up, but disabled.
Yep, Deck agrees. She wants them alive to grill them for information.
Okay.
Excellent. So, as the Nyria kind of does this, actually, do you want to describe what it looks like, if in some cinematic fashion?
So I, as far as piloting the ship, I was heading right towards them, and I was gonna bring it up at its edge, knowing that as I said they were gonna break right. They both made the different decisions and flew towards each other.
Gotcha.
So that's what accounts for the 3d6 damage from the setup.
And you can see Catbap basically runs one of these automatic point defense lasers into one of the ones on the right, causing its shields to drop as well. And then I would say with the other shot, you shear clean through its engine cowlings, blowing its engines off. That is the first round. You guys did not take any damage, so we don't have to do anything in terms of damage control. And so that would be back up to the top of the following round. I see we're only 10 minutes from where we normally would cut off. Do we want to call it here and then figure out what happens with the Teltec and the start of the next adventure?
I have enough energy to keep playing, but yeah.
I do too.
Okay. If everyone's good. All right,
I'm
then
okay
we're going to
either
go
way.
back. Yep. We're going to go to the start of the turn. So, Matthew, were you going to say something?
My understanding, there's like another ship to somewhat deal with. That's what we're doing.
There's one last ship to deal
Okay.
with. Yep. So you've dealt with the two space banshees, and then there's the one that was docked with the other ship up here. So that takes place, I would say, over the course. It takes about a minute as you guys just kind of play this game of chicken and fly at each other. And now we're back up to the top of the round, so it starts with another command test. So you're going to roll a leadership command.
Yeah. You mean communication leadership, right?
Communication leadership, yeah, I said
Okay.
command.
That's okay. It's okay. My TN is 11, right? You said 11? Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
So you made it.
Cool. And I stunted, so that means I generate an extra point, right? So I have 4.
Exactly.
Okay. Beautiful. My understanding is we're not really going to be firing on this ship necessarily, but we're going to be trying to subdue it and board it. In which case, I think guidance makes the most sense for my stunt points. Either that, or I could try. Unless you think tactics would make sense, Chase.
Tactics. I mean, tactics is not probably going to help in this regard. And just to lay the groundwork, set the scene. So the Teltec has its shields up, and it's docked with this other ship. The idea was you guys were going to maybe swoop in and beam Tac maybe aboard. So unless he is able to quickly get onto this other ship before it can like decouple, it's probably going to maybe, how do I put it? You might have to deal with the ship on its own. Like, you have a lot of distance to cover, and you know that if they want to, they'll probably be able to disengage from that other ship in the minute or so it will take you to cross thousands of kilometers in space.
Okay.
But you could hold on to it for guidance, because there's going to be tests coming up.
Yeah, I just don't think that anything else makes sense. Right?
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, how many points did you have? 6?
4.
4.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at the wrong one. They have
It's
6.
okay.
Yep. Yeah, I think saving it for guidance is probably fair.
Okay. And do I determine after the roll if I'm applying my guidance bonus and how many stunt points, or do I apply it before it happens?
You can. Sorry, could you repeat the question?
When do I have to determine how many stunt points and on what tests I'm applying my guidance?
You can apply it at any point during the combat. The risk is just if you don't decide.
No, I mean
by the
before
end,
or after the rolls happen.
I'm letting you do it after the rolls happen because I'm not going to make you waste your bonuses on a roll.
Okay.
So, all right, and that's your command test. They had a 6. Okay.
And real quick question, did we close any, like, what amount of distance did we close during that time? Did we move range-wise?
You did. It's hard to tell because it's all like relative to each other. So you closed distance between those ships, but like since you were flying at each other, it was a much more apparent. That ship's just kind of been immobile. So I would say you're still a long range away from it. So you could ostensibly get there this turn if you just gunned your engines.
Okay,
It was just
I was just wondering because like our ship didn't, you didn't move it on the map, and I didn't know if we just didn't move enough for it to.
Right. So this is kind of like, this is kind of like a Dratus contact where you're central, so everything else moves relative to where your ship is. So
okay.
You've gotten closer. You just haven't moved the needle enough for that ship to be considered like at medium range to you. Because long range is like anything beyond 1,000, like it's like 1,000 kilometers, you know. So it's just huge distances involved.
So we just haven't moved a large enough distance for that to look any closer at all.
Correct. Exactly.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. You're very welcome. It's a very kind of different style of space of combat. So the next step is maneuvers. So I would say, Dakiri, if you wanted to like really get there quickly, that's the thing where you basically have to push the ship and risk causing like damage to the people on the ship due to the inertia. By default, you would move one range increment, so you'd move them to medium range where they would be kind of in range of your attacks.
I don't think we have enough here. Normally, Dakiri would be all for the speed, but I don't think there's enough to risk the crew on this one. So I'm gonna move it to the medium range.
Got it. Alrighty. And that ship can't really move away because it is still tethered to that ship. So do one thing really quick. Okay. So that ship is, well, as you guys start moving towards it, you move it to within medium range of you, and you can see that it has retracted its docking clamps and is starting to try to move away from the ship as you basically move in on it, bringing it to within weapons range. That is the maneuvers test. It can't really succeed or fail at it. Next up would be engineering. So now you're basically, as you guys are closing the distance over this minute, you guys can try to prepare your ship systems.
I don't think, based on what I know about the weapons, because we can hit it with the regular gun, right?
Yeah, so the only guns you can hit it with right now are the missiles and the laser gun.
Got it. So the PDCs and the grapplers don't work. Okay, I see the chart now. Perfect.
Yep.
Then yeah, I'll go ahead and try to make a test in case they try to fire at us to help polarize the hull. So once again, TAC interfaces back with the system again.
Jesus.
I'm not
8
gonna
stunt
force
points,
them.
right? Or yes, yeah,
No,
yeah, 8
I'm
stunt
not
points
gonna.
again.
No, because I'm not gonna force it.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed it. Yep.
I could. Oh, that'd be so easy.
And that would line the churn right up, wouldn't it?
No, I'm just gonna put one SP into the temporary hull bonus to the ship resisting damage.
Excellent. Alrighty, it is going to make the same test. This is just a straight intelligence. Okay. I would say that it does. Yeah, I know what it's going to do. Okay. All right, next round is to electronics warfare. Drugel.
I'll take that. 20 with no stunts.
Okay. So
So that means that we succeed, but I don't get anything.
you basically, with your success, that means that you can apply half of your stunt dice, and you can make it be like a bonus to attack or a thing to defense. So you succeeded on the test, so you basically get like a general bonus.
So let's attach it to our defense this time, in case they're able to detach. Does that sound right?
Yep, that sounds exactly right. So you're increasing your defense by half rounded up. So
whatever that was, that's a 5 rounded up, so 3. So defense plus 3 this turn, but that's it.
Beautiful. Alrighty, defense plus 3.
And two stunt points, right? One automatically generated, one plus one from Cassie.
I didn't roll doubles.
It says that there's always one stunt point generated.
Oh, that is how I did it. So yeah, so there is one. Got it. Because it operates like
one
stun.
plus any if you roll doubles. It's like a stunt attack.
Yep, exactly. Sorry about that. Thank you.
So then TAC would have gotten an extra one from me too.
We would have put 2 into the hull instead.
Yep. Sorry about that, Drugel. Yeah, so you get Drugel, you have 2 stunt points that you can spend on any of that stuff. Thank you, Matthew.
Sure, let's add 2 more stunt points to defensive action or the TN to evade one of the winning ship's attacks this round.
Okay.
So we'll dazzle some more sensors.
All right, so you're making your attacks harder to evade.
Yes.
Got it. So plus 2 to your attack, essentially, minus 2 to theirs. Minus 3 to theirs. Good stuff. Really effective.
Perfect.
So yeah, so you're basically dazzling their sensors with your targeting lasers, and you're basically just overwhelming the Teltech's simple sensors. So that was the electronics warfare, psyop warfare.
Yep. Sorry, I'm burping.
Oh, good.
Let me roll my dookadoo. Did I roll that right? No, I did. Well, I mean, it's plus 2, so 20 total.
Good deal. That's a success.
Yeah. So this thing hasn't quite started moving yet. It's just us on him, right? Them.
Yeah, he's detached from the ship. On the next turn he's going to start moving away.
Yeah. So I'm going to use just 2 stunt points on target, plus 1 to our weapon attacks for the next round.
Awesome.
Because I get 2 stunt points.
Excellent.
Wait, hold on. What's the churn at?
I think it should be higher than 23, because we've spent a lot of stunt points in the last few turns, haven't we?
Oh,
It was
I
20
mean,
before.
Yeah, and it was I've been bumping it up.
there was
Okay,
like
so
3
23.
points.
Whenever it only goes up when we spend more than 4 or more, right?
And when you roll a 6.
Correct. But is it anytime you roll a 6 or when you roll a 6 and you stunt?
Oh, I see
Like,
what you're saying.
well, 3 of us had like 6 stunt points.
Yeah, 3 of you generated stunts on a 6.
I know, I bumped it for those already. Because it started at the start of this fight at like 13 or 14 or like 17.
Oh, okay, yeah,
So
then
that's
that's
like cranked.
Cool.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you guys got 20 early on, it felt like. And I felt like there's whole but that's fine. It's 23, 24.
I'm gonna spend 6 fortune to gain 4 more stunt points. So this will be a total of 6 stun points I've spent.
There you go. So it makes it like a 25.
Yep, I'm gonna spend 4 stunt point. Those 4 stunt points that I gain to do a precise hit with probably Dakiri's cannon. So, well, in fact, Dakiri's cannon. So.
You were talking to Kiri?
Or Kepap. I think he's got.
Yeah,
He's
who's
on the
ever?
guns.
Okay, I thought you were on
Yeah,
the
who's
big,
ever on the guns.
big
I
weapon.
was too. Yeah.
Cool. Whoever's on the big weapon. That
Excellent.
is my turn.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so you basically are you can sense that they're going to try to jig left when instead they should try to jig right, and you help direct the attack. All right. Let's see. That they don't have a psi officer, so they can't do jack shit. So now is the weapon attacks. So the only weapons that you guys have that have range are your torpedoes and your big gun, and I think you guys already established you don't want to use your torpedoes. So, Dakiri, I would say you can go ahead and roll the thing. I mean, unless you really want Catbap to do it.
I want Kiri to do it. I'm gonna give my
Oh, God.
guidance. I'm giving my guidance. We're gonna pump all 4 stun points in the
So
guidance.
you
there.
get a +2 to that from me.
Yep.
So that's automatically a 13. Plus the 4 from Cassie would put you at 17.
There you go.
I haven't spent anything yet. No, I'll take it. I'll take it at 17.
Wait, I can
Right.
use guidance here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, no.
What? Wait.
No,
what?
that was tactics. Guidance is for like evasion, trying to shoot down missiles. Yeah, guidance has a very specific list of what the ones you can apply it to.
Tactics doesn't do anything on attacks.
So basically, when you're attacking is setting the target number to try to evade your weapons. So I would say instead, if you want to use, not tactics, sorry, on target. On target is what it's called.
That's not in my list.
Oh, that's a mistake then. I'm sorry. Then you should have that. So yes, you could use it. So on target is every 2 stunt points that you spend adds a +1 to the target number.
Okay.
So
I'll
if you want to
spend
do
4
that
stun
instead,
points here
gives
for
it a
on
+2.
target, which will give you a +2 to the
Yep.
attack. Okay. Okay.
So instead of a 17, that's a -3 to it, right? Because we thought it was going to be a 5 or a 4. So what's the final number? It's 11 plus 2 plus 2, so 11 plus 4, 15.
Yep.
There you go.
If the modifiers are right, yes.
There you go. So the TN is 15 to evade your energy weapon attack. You can see from the Teltac as it starts to pull away from the ship, a small torpedo comes out of a launcher on its back. So the way that you know that torpedoes work is that it's going to reach you on the following turn because you guys are still like several hundred kilometers from each other. So you can see a small torpedo starts to come out and the ship lets out an alarm to let you know that a torpedo is closing in on you. Hey, just as we're about to hit 30 churn. That's exciting.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, so that is its weapon attack. Next up is defensive action. So basically, it has to try to dodge your attack, and you have to try to dodge its, but there's nothing in range to attack you, so the only thing is it's trying to dodge yours. and I've lost its character sheet. I apologize. Give me just a second. There it is. So it is going to try to make its evasion test. It's got a +2 due to the size difference in it. 16, and I believe that the final number that you guys set was a 15.
15.
Got
Okay.
it.
And then the +3 that I gave to evasion was our evasion of that things, not a -3 to them.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. So you can see this green bolt of energy, and as it decouples from the ship, you can see the thing just drops about 100 meters as the green bolt soars over it. It just barely evading your attack.
Oh, what? Sorry, what was their total?
16. And the target number was the 15.
Yep.
Yep.
Those little shits.
Those little shits. Yeah, they're slippery because they're smaller than you. There's no attack damage to roll. There's no damage control to roll. Unless, Tack, you're wanting to try to fix the condition that's giving you a -1 to your attack rolls.
Oh, can I fix it during?
Yeah. That's part. Sorry, I should have told you before. That's part of damage control.
Oh, this is damage control. Got it. Since we didn't do it last turn, I'm not familiar as much with it.
And just to let you know, I don't think there would have been a way that you could have had it fixed in that, Well, actually, no, you could have. The threshold was 5. You know what? Because we've never done this before, I'm giving you a mulligan. You would have had a chance to try to fix it in the last turn. If you're able to make a 5 on the threshold, I'll say that you guys would have hit with this attack because that would have been the difference.
Okay,
I don't think we applied the -1, did we?
No, I don't think we did.
Oh, so then that still wouldn't have done. Okay, so yeah, then you try to fix the gun on your turn.
Can I still do it with Constitution stamina?
Yeah, you're basically pouring yourself in and trying to bridge the gaps in the capacitor with your worms.
Perfect. So attack focuses again and goes back in.
Yeah. So with that 5, that meets the threshold for a minor loss to fix the damage on it. So you're able to fix the damage.
Perfect.
So you've removed the negative condition from the gun. All right. Next, top of the next turn is the start of a new command test. If you guys still want to keep going. So I guess the question would be, let's check our intent. The ship is starting. You can tell it's starting to try to move away. It's leaving the Telpat Rin on its own. Do you want to try to pursue or take out this ship as it's going away? I see Deck nodding yes.
Yeah, I'm deferring to Deck on this one. Not that I have much of a choice.
Big same.
Since she's in the pilot seat and I can't fly a ship.
Yep.
Got it.
Hey, don't do that. Yeah.
All right. So next up, new leadership tests. Cassie, if you'd like to make your command test.
Kapow!
Nice. So you succeeded. You didn't double. So unless you're planning to spend fortune, you would earn 1 stunt point. It's kind of like a stunt attack, like Matt said. That's a good way to think of it.
Right, okay. Fuck the churn, though.
That churn, though.
I really, really don't want that asteroid to explode.
I kind
where
of
I'm
do!
I don't!
We just planted that idea.
It's not in fiction. It's not our fault.
In fiction, yeah.
In the game, it is. In fiction, we have no idea. Well, unless the churn makes it our fault, I guess.
Yeah. Make your decision, Cassie.
Yeah, I guess I don't fully understand, what do I get to do without stunt points?
I mean, you have a stunt point to spend. So you could literally just say, I want to put 1 stunt point into guidance. You know what a torpedo is coming for you. So you could say, I'm going to hold on to this and make sure that we don't get blown up by a torpedo.
Right.
So you could say, and the defensive actions turn, I'm going to give us a bonus to like the PDC test to shoot it down, or the evasion test to evade it.
Okay. I guess so. The only thing I'm trying to understand is like, are there things that I can do during this turn that aren't stunts?
No, like that's. I mean, unless you want to get creative and say Cassie is going to do it. Cassie's going to hail them and try to like implore them. Like we can obviously do things within the fiction. We're not slavishly tied to like this list. But like within space combat, yeah, that's what you can do.
Okay. All right. Well then, in that case, I'm just gonna leave it at the 1 stunt point. I'm gonna hang on to it in case we need to evade, and I'm gonna try to, talk to them and get them to stand down.
Okay. You can broadcast to them and say whatever you want. They do not answer your hail, is how I'll put it.
Okay. So I won't bother.
I mean, you can try. Yeah, you absolutely it's unlikely in this point. I was using that as an example.
Okay. Then I guess.
I mean, unless you want to try to make like a persuasion test, but like, what are you saying? Like, I mean, they can hear you.
Well, you basically just told me that whatever I say, they're not going to respond. So.
I mean, they didn't answer your hail. You're broadcasting to them. They can hear you. They're not like on the screen talking to you. So you can try to talk to them. Like, what do you want to say to them?
Okay. All right.
Sorry, that was very unclear. I was just trying to make you say like they're not like hello. They can hear you. They're just not like talking to you.
Okay.
They're not responding to you.
All right. I didn't under. Okay. So Cassie will say, "You cannot get far enough away from that asteroid before we can impact torpedoes." Your 2 Banshees are disabled, and you are clearly do not have the upper hand in this situation. You wanna die spectacularly here? Or do you wanna calm the fuck down and talk?
Roll me, are you trying, that would be, I would say, persuasion?
Sure. I'll take persuasion.
Okay. Let me check one thing, if that's okay.
Okay.
Stop. Okay, here's what happens. I'm not, just to explain the thought process of one of these pirates, okay? Because Dakiri would know this too. They're pretty thoroughly convinced. They do know that what the price of failure is within their organization. So they're basically faced with a scenario. They can stop and basically exchange with you, but then they'll be killed later. If that makes sense. So
okay,
it's them wait and die for basically surrendering, or they can take their chances and try to run away.
Running away is still failure for them.
Well, running away, at least they can maybe spin it however they want it to, because they don't know what you're gonna do when they, like, I'm putting myself in the footsteps of these pirates. Like,
okay,
them getting captured and then losing their ship and whatever you want to do to them, and they project too, so maybe you just execute them once you get on the ship, you know? That's kind of the thought process of what a pirate is going through. So you work with that if you can or if you want to.
Okay, so can I evolve what I'm saying then?
Yeah. So
Okay.
like they can't. They basically, it's going to take them 2 more rounds to spin up their slip space drive to get away from you. So you basically had 30 seconds to convince them.
Okay. I'm betting you're spinning up your slip space drive right now, trying to get away and try to spin this little narrative however you want to your superiors. But I know who your superiors are. And running away without this asteroid is failure, isn't it? And what is the price for your failure? You could take your chances with us. 'Cause we might let you live. We could have blown up your banshees, but they're just disabled. Or you can go the route that you know will likely end in your death. It's your choice. It's your gamble. But you make up your mind quick.
Roll me another communication persuasion test.
Okay.
You want to look and see what social stunts might
That's what I'm
apply to
looking at
this?
right now, yeah. There's sway the crowd, or there's let's make a deal.
I think either of those within the fiction kind of work. And they almost both would have kind of the same. I'd say let's make a deal makes the most sense.
Okay.
Alrighty. So after a few moments of radio silence, as this torpedo continues to accelerate towards you, you see the grizzled face of a Kigyar, a reptilian Kigyar, who is missing one eye, comes up on the screen, and he says, "You've got me between an asteroid and a hard place. Let's make a deal." And that is where we're going to call tonight's session. So good.
Can they dismantle their torpedo heading towards us, or
They
is
can.
that still something we're going to have to deal with?
No, they can. They basically can. That ends the combat scene, and they can
Okay.
disable and recall the torpedo. They're like completely remotely guided. So good, good stuff. Yeah. Thank you so much, and thank you for being patient as we worked through space combat rules for the very first time. Honestly, you know, it's like a game within the game, and it's a little different. I think, you know, I ran through this a few times by myself, and it took me about an hour to do. But then again, I'm a little bit more familiar with it, so looking forward to any feedback. So, okay, so that was today's session. Let's start wrapping up. What is the churn counter at right now, folks?
27.
And I think if you didn't already increase it, that counts
I did
as
increase
as
it
a
at
save.
the end of the
Yes.
scene. So does it count as 2? Because churn will go up when the character successfully overcome an encounter or hazard and at the end of a scene in an adventure. So does it go up by 2 or 1?
Let's just have it go up by 1. So like we're going, you know, let's just, to be fair to you guys, say that this negotiation with the Kigyar.
Oh wait,
What is that?
you spent 4 for Let's Make a Deal though, right? Or how much was Let's Make a Deal?
3. I spent 3.
So for those of you at home who haven't really picked up on this, the churn is a mechanic within the Expanse RPG that kind of represents the give and take of fate. And as things go your way, the pendulum is going to swing back, and it continues to build on itself, increasing the risk. So, all right. So let's go around the table. Let's tell people where they can find you. Favorite scene of the session, and then we are still doing a giveaway for a copy of the Expanse RPG. So if you haven't entered, type in falling star for your chance to win as we go around. So I'm gonna call on somebody. Let's call on Liz.
Asteroid. That's the word I was looking for. Sorry, I was busy shit posting in chat. Because we're gonna call this a calamity. So my name is Liz. You can find me at No One You Know Backwards and on the socials, posting pictures of baking things and my dog, and I do stuff. So I'm here Wednesdays and then I'm here Saturdays this week. I do with the two games, Tales of Gashari and then Cold Suns. We keep an eye out with our animal helper friends. If you can't go donate to their cause, I know they have a Amazon wish list right now with some pretty urgent items that they need. So, but if you can't buy anything for them, go share their posts on Facebook if you're still in that trash fire. And yeah, come join us in our Discord as we do movie nights and keep you updated on everything else that we're doing. Favorite moments from the evening. I think the decision that Deck and Cassie made to not explode those two smaller ships was probably a favorite moment of the evening, because now we get to go collect those people, potentially intimidate them, and forward the narrative rather than just killing people willy-nilly, which is sometimes also fun, but this creates more depth to our future encounters. So I'm really excited about what that's going to bring. I will pass this over to Sean.
So I'll be here every Saturday trying to keep up with everyone else on this Cold Suns series. Favorite moments. I mean, I got to hand it to Alexis, right? Obviously, the scene in the Hollow Suite, very poignant. I was doing my very best to keep up with that scene and contribute, but it was touching. I really enjoyed that. And then I'll kick it over to Matthew.
Hi, folks. I am Matthew Foreman. You can find me at Matthew W. Foreman on Twitter. You can also find me here on Twitch TV/Dice Priori and at Twitch TV/Matt Foreman, where I stream Dead by Daylight and a classic WoW lately, which has been nice as I prepare for the re-release of the Burning Crusade, so I can relive my glory days like a almost 33-year-old millennial has been. My favorite moment was let's see. I liked the sequence of like we dodged them, the ships collided, and then we shot them out of the sky. That was neat. It's not so bad. Like it's our first time using it. It can feel like what's happening. But there's a certain satisfaction to systems that are like click, 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 and then the resolution happens. That could be kind of cool. Yeah. I don't know who's left to nominate. I wasn't paying attention.
Just Rob.
Oh, yeah.
Because I said that last time. I got to say it again.
Am I the last one?
Rob and Alexis. No, I think Alexis still hasn't gone. So.
Okay.
Oh.
Really?
Go Rob and then let Alexis close it out.
Sounds great.
Perfect. Rob at Pyromancer 804. you can find me here on Saturdays as well as on Wednesday nights for the Ghost in the Machine anthology for Tales of Gashari, which is a good time. And my favorite moment, like I think people have already said the favorite moments, but the scene with Deck and Cassie is fantastic. The spaceship combat, that first scene with them bouncing, I could almost like visualize it. I like the overall of space combat. I think like once we fully understand the rules, it's gonna flow really well and very quickly. Like once we understand, like okay, here's how it works and stuff, and it'll be like that. But yeah, I like the kind of mechanics behind it. And I'll go ahead and pass it back to Alexis.
Hello, I'm Alexis. You can find me at VoxFanato on Twitters and here, where we've talked about the various stuff we have going on, but also make sure you're here on Tuesday for Monster of the Week, which starts at 8:30 p.m. Central, and we're doing our 80s flashback series, and I'm playing a Chosen who is a Gorgon, and it's very fun. My favorite moment this evening, I mean, obviously I very much really enjoyed the scene, the date. That was very good. Sean, I think you contributed a lot to that scene too, so do not sell yourself short on that one. And it's just a joy to role play and bounce off of each other that way in scenes like that. But I also really I feel like we need to put some love on the scene between Drake and Takiri too, because that was very, very good. I really enjoyed the adding the element of, well, I've engaged the dark side a lot. I need to kind of try to deal with that, and the element of engaging Takiri in that and trying to sort of explain and kind of take Takiri under Drake's wing a little bit, and that was really interesting to watch, especially Takiri trying really hard to meditate. Just a joy. Yeah, that's everything for me. Chase,
Nice.
You got anything?
Yeah, so I mean, so my name is Chase. You can find me at Chase4S. I'm also on all of our socials where I post TTRPG memes every single day. I had a really funny one that I think has reached the most likes that we've ever had. It's kind of surprising which ones actually take off and which ones don't. It's funny to me. Yeah, tonight was a wonderful episode. I love the fact that the first, essentially half of it, was just a lot of, we had some tender moments. We had, like you said, the scene between Takiri and Cassie was beautiful because not only was the scene between you guys, but it peeled back the onion of your guys' backstories a little bit. I love the scene between Drake and Takiri. Drake kind of taking her under his wing a little bit. I loved Drugel and the information that they're able to gather. And honestly, Liz, thank you, because you just give me more opportunities to peel back pieces of the lore and share parts of the universe. So that's always nice. And then I love the idea that TAC, they're starting to emerge into this kind of engineer role, and where maybe they were kind of the tank of the party earlier. Now through the spaceship combat, they've shown that they have other maybe hidden talents that you guys haven't had an opportunity to see yet. So a lot of really cool stuff. Also, and then, thank you guys so much for being understanding with the space combat rules. It's kind of a game within the game, but yeah, I think once we, I'm open to some revisions, but I think once you figure it out, the second and third rounds went so much faster than the first one did because everyone kind of starts to understand what they can do. So a lot of really cool stuff and kind of fun to see this aspect of the game for the first time. So we're going to do our giveaway for the Expanse RPG. So if you haven't had a chance yet, type ! falling star in the chat, or forever hold your peace, because we're going to do that poll here in just 10 seconds. And then we're gonna do our little rerun afterwards. I'm gonna count down 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. That's your chance. So let's go ahead and draw that giveaway.
Ashenworks.
Woo! Nice. Ashenworks, we'll get in contact with you after the stream, and we will get you your. Oh no, Lord Arctic Frost! I'm sorry.
Frost will catch the next one.
Yeah, Frosty will catch the next one. We're sorry, Frosty. All right, so we're gonna get in contact with Ashenworks, get them a copy of the Expanse RPG PDF. Please tune in every week. Arctic Frost, we're going to be giving away stuff almost every week, so you'll have plenty of chances to win. Stick around. We're going to do a rerun of the episode, and, appreciate your time. We'll see you next week.